I cannot believe this is episode 215, season 5. Time is just flying by, man. I mean, in no time it's going to be 2025.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm so glad that you made it over here.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, it was a long drive for you.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take for you to get here?
About 8 hours.
8 hours. That's ridiculous, man. I don't even know how to drive for 8 hours. Oh, maybe I do.
No, you do.
I know, right? I definitely know how to drive. All right, guys. Hello, everyone. My name is Sean Simons. PPG Grandpa got Mac. He's our director of engineering over here at Run to the Sky. We're actually over at Run to the Sky right now. We also got Will Fly. And if you want to be on the spinny wheel of winning things, make sure you at Will Fly today. Hey, wait a minute. We can all be on here. So make sure you add me too. I want to be on the spinny wheel of winning things, right? It's always awesome. We got Kyle Neal. He's our director of operations over here. Our Linda Anderson, Paramount USA. She's our PR girl. And Scuba Steve, he has his own. What is it again?
Yeah. Paramotoroutlaww.com. There you go.
I cannot remember that. You need to stick with paramotordude.com. But
no,
man,
I don't need a dude. You need dude.
I like
with that hair.
I like paramotordude.com. Kevin Houston, he is our president of Run to the Sky. This whole thing right here is a nonprofit, and we're very happy that you all made it today. And this is going to be a great episode. Mac, man, I met you down in Texas, and we started hanging out. You're an old Marine. I'm an old Marine. And we started talking Marine Corps stuff, and boom, you're part of our nonprofit also.
Right. Director
of engineering. Tell us a little bit about you. All right. I mean, because you have an amazing background, especially the AMP. Did you say that you worked for NASA or did something for NASA too? I mean, okay. So this guy is amazing. You got to listen to this guy. This guy's great.
Hey there, everybody. No, just a little background. I'm a 30-year A&P aircraft mechanic, design engineer, and a bunch of other hats and things like that I put in a machinist. Years ago, I went into the Marine Corps and started off as an aviation hydraulics technician and started learning everything about aircraft, mostly helicopters, large scale helicopters and things like that. And then I went to school for design and engineering and got a few degrees under my belt and been doing aviation for a very long time and just building things, loving it. I do everything from welding to machining to cold fabrications, name it. And I work on everything from skins to engines to hydraulics. Yeah, anything that you can imagine that works with an aircraft. And also composites and things like that too. So anything you want to ask, feel free to ask.
I get it. I get it. If our paramotor breaks, bring it to you. I got it.
Sure. Or you can give me a call and I can tell you how to fix it over the phone.
Well, remember, we're trying to build paramotors over here and trikes and quads and all that fun stuff.
Yep.
And we have our welder, Scott. He's an amazing guy. He's actually on the board and a part of our nonprofit also. And yes, this is my real hair. It's not a wig. I just let the hair down today. And so we're working on building our own trikes, our own quads, our own light trikes, our own paramotor frames.
Yep.
And we want people to really be able to run into the sky. You know, if they can't run into the sky, we can definitely trike and roll into the sky.
Pipe bender, a CNC machine, and everything else you can think of if you're going to be building your own trikes and frames and all that. So what you got plans for there?
Well, like I said, I'm a machinist too. So I'm buying actual tooling and things like that. Oh yeah. And I have, like I said, I've been doing this for over 30 years. So I have a lot of resources that where if I need something fabricated, then I know the connections to get it fabricated.
Over 30 years. You're old, man.
So, but most of the machine work and stuff I do on my own. I've built a lot of things. I used to work for not necessarily NASA, but for another company that's kind of worldwide. It's L3 Communications as our fabrications and design technician. So
if y'all do build frames and paramotor frames and trikes and stuff like that, they're gonna be USA made then?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Made in Texas.
Nice. I like it. I like it.
Made in Texas and
Yeah.
well, designed in Texas, but made in Arkansas and Texas.
I don't know. We'll see.
Ah, so-
I think it should say made in USA somewhere on the frame, because everywhere else that says that they make it in the USA, you know, it's like not really, or you can't tell. I'm proud of that. I wanted to say
Yeah.
like made in the USA real big or something.
Yeah.
yeah, this will be made, designed,
Yep.
flown in the USA. These
Yep.
will not be exported outside the USA.
And it's going to be a little different than what you're going to get though, as far as like, you know, when they make products out of the country and they bring them in, as opposed to making here. Most of the time, the stuff we make here is more expensive. Well, it's going to be just the
Right.
opposite of that.
Oh yeah, well, that's with everything, but yeah, I get it.
So the whole point of why we're designing this is because I want to make it more cost effective for more people to be able to come into the sport, not so cost prohibitive. So that's
Yeah.
when I'm also designing the logistics part of it so that we can have a constant flow of parts and things like that to come in as well, so that we can assemble it and or have send it off to a person, have them assemble it as far as like the customer, show them how to assemble it, and then they'll actually have a paramotor up and ready to
Absolutely.
fly. So
yeah, and that's why I made this nonprofit.
Yeah.
You know, I made it to where everybody can come and learn to fly, very inexpensive, a really good quality school.
Yep.
And we're focusing, of course, on disabled veterans to get them even a better deal, you know, get them in here, get them to be able to fly, you know, and really help them out. I mean, you know,
Absolutely.
I'm a vet, you're a vet. It's really important to be able to do something like this, to be part of
Kramer,
a team.
then only Texans would buy it if you put made in Texas. I'm just saying.
Now, I can't help it, other people's views. It is what it is. Texas is a great state. What can I say? It's not the only great state, but it's a great state.
Yeah.
It's a big state. I know that.
It is.
I
Absolutely.
drove through that son of a what? No, that's
Take 3 days to drive through.
Yep.
You start driving through Texas one day, it's like, it took a week to get through that.
It's a
damn
team
state.
effort.
It is.
It's
It
a
is.
team
That's
effort.
a huge state. We are going to be giving away stuff, so make sure you at Will Fly say, I am here and I want to be on the spinny wheel of winning things. So we are Lone Star is our sponsor. They are going to be giving away something every single week, so make sure you check that out. And at the beginning of this, you always seen the video of the new commercial that they did. They did a really good job.
Yeah.
You were down there when they were videoing.
Yeah, I'm
filming
actually
it.
in the video.
I didn't see you.
I know.
Where are you in the video then?
You look at the track that's leaving.
See that thing flying
It's
right back
like,
there? That's me. I'm waving.
Just kidding.
That's hilarious. Yeah, but anyways,
I got a question already.
okay.
Go for it.
No, Will can go. Will got it. Go ahead, Will.
No, well, it doesn't matter to me. So Tony wants to know, can you compare it to another trike, like say the trike buggy?
The trike is going to be built a bit more robust. We're building it around a 300cc Cosmos 300. So it's going to be a little more robust, a lot more durable than most. And the parts, if a part does happen to get damaged for whatever reason, it's going to be a lot easier to replace. Matter of fact, it'll be user replaced. It's what we'll supply the part and then they can just install it on the trike themselves. That's going to help reduce the cost of manufacturing the parts. It's going to also help reduce the shipping and things like that. So we won't have to have such crazy integral parts like stuff that's all welded together. Some components will be required to be welded together, but simply because of their stress points and things like that. But for the most part, it's pretty straightforward on its assembly.
Is it going to cost $1,000 for a frame, or $1,000 for a hoop, or $1,000 for netting?
No.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and we're gonna just a lot of things that are gonna be going to it. I have looked over now. Granted, I haven't been in paramotoring a lot, but I'm a pretty quick study on engineering and things like that. So of the paramotors and things that I've been researching since I got into this at the beginning of the year, I look at all the designs and I look what works and what doesn't work, and then I'm putting all the things that really work into this design. And building it in such a way to where you have one trike and it's foldable. You detach your engine, even with the Cosmo 300. Yes, you can detach the engine with the way that I'm designing it. And then if you want to make it for a single, or you can make it for a dual, you can do a tandem as well on it in the same design. So, and again, it's going to have suspension, so it'll go over rough terrain pretty smoothly. And then it's going to be able to take some pretty heavy people, or, you know, a hodgepodge of different.
Yeah, with a Cosmos 300 on there, you can pick up anything.
Exactly. And with it being liquid cooled, I mean, one version would be the liquid cooled 300. Another version where we've got some other engines that we also have in mind to work with this. But at the very least, it's going to be, you know, it's a higher CC type engine because we want that lift capability. And we're still working out some of the details, but we're going to make it very user friendly where one moment you can be flying a single person, and just in a very few moments, I mean, like maybe another 10 or 15 minutes later, you can have it set up for tandem. And without
Yeah,
having
so
a-
if you're a tandem pilot, this
Mhm.
is definitely the one to go to. This.
Yeah. So, and it's all gonna be made out of aircraft grade aluminums, and some really, really high end type stuff, but I've got a pretty decent source that I can get them at really decent cost. So I can transfer that kind of cost savings to the people that want to buy it.
Aircraft quality aircraft aluminum.
Mhm.
So what is that exactly for people like me that really don't understand the engineering part of this?
Mhm.
What is aircraft aluminum?
Okay. There's quite a different types of materials out there that you can make it from. There's the purity of the material is what makes aircraft grade aluminum. Okay, that's what qualifies it as. It's the purity of the aluminums and the alloys. It has certain stringent 4001, I think it's 4001 or 9001, ISO 4001 or 9001, that they have to make sure that the alloys are fluid, so there's no weak points in the alloys themselves. The grades that we're going to be using as a and here's where the Greek comes in. 6061 T6 aluminum, which is a silicon based aluminum. And it makes it super strong and super light, and pretty easy to work with, really.
Y'all already know it's USA made because it's aluminum, not aluminium.
Aluminium. I love
aluminium.
I love the way that, I would like some aluminium.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the way that aluminium. I mean,
I wouldn't
that's
say
some cool stuff.
aluminium. Yes,
Aluminium.
I don't know where I went with that.
I
Sorry.
don't know.
So, but yeah, that's the focus of it. And I want to make it as comfortable as possible. I mean, because we're catering to veterans to
Right.
start with. We want people to be able to enjoy the experience of flying without all the impacts that it has on the person's body. So that's going to be the primary focus of how I'm designing this. And it's also going to have, you might like this part. It's going to have reclining racing bucket seats, 5-point harness. Oh yeah.
5-point
And
harness. I like it.
yeah, and custom colors, and just to make it any kind of custom colors you want, or if you just want the straight, you know, the pretty slick use of the metals, because we're using aerodynamic metals. We're not just using tubing, like you've seen a lot of them use round tubing and things of that nature. We're using aerodynamic metals that have the airfoil inside the metal themselves, and a lot of engineering that goes into this. Some of it's going to be extruded aluminums, which is even stronger than just say your basic tubing and things like that. So there's a lot of engineering that's going into it, but I'm doing all that part for, you know, just for my own sake, because I'm not charging anybody for the engineering part or anything like that in the design. It's just basically, you know, I don't know. I don't even have any idea what we're gonna do cost point yet, but it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter to me. I retired 5 years ago, and I'm doing this because I want to help people. It's just that simple. So, any more questions?
Well, Will, is there any more questions out there?
Yeah, I got one and it wasn't covered. Cup holder. Does it have a cup holder?
Oh,
You know, we do have options.
did you see that video that Tucker got? Tucker got one of those gyroscopic things that stays like, you know, straight?
That's easy.
Maybe that's the thing to do, is just to keep that you
Yeah.
know, keep a gyroscopic one like
Yeah.
Tucker did.
Yeah, and the whole goal is to keep zip ties at a minimum.
Yeah, there you go. Nice. So you're a fabricator, right?
Yes.
Okay, so and I guess there's a difference between like a welder and a fabricator, like no, the same thing basically.
Anybody who makes something from basic elements, from
Okay.
not sure basic elements, I'm sorry, from raw materials.
Mhm.
Okay. You have the different levels of fabrication. You have people that actually do the smelting part, which they make the alloys and things like that. That's usually from larger companies, because the amount of restrictions are put on how the materials are made. And then you have a fabricator who basically makes whatever material, stock material, into components or into something, an end product. That's the term of a fabricator. So, and that could be
Oh.
machining, building, it could be, and all the other stuff that goes on top of it. Even 3D printing is considered a type of fabrication. So
I'm a fabricator then.
Yeah. Of plastics. What's that stuff called? TP something or other? TP? I don't know, the plastic.
Yeah, and PLA plastic and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So,
Actually, Kyle got a really good STL file that he's going to send me so we can print. What was that thing that you sent me, Kyle?
So it's a part of the thing that it goes onto the props where we can actually hang it and do a balance check. That way, when we start, if you repair the prop, we can balance it out and make sure it's not gonna have any vibrations. So it's gonna be just a free hang.
Yeah, and Kyle is going to be working on um, a design that we can put the end of a prop that's been broken into a mold and redo the whole prop and fix it. So if you guys have any broken props, we'll be able to fix broken props too in the future. Thank you, Kyle.
yeah, and I am a composite technician too, by the way, if anybody needs any help repairing props.
Nice. Dude.
Kyle, get up with this guy. You two need to be talking.
But
I know
I'm
somebody.
an FAA technician, so remember that it's going to be to the requirements of the FAA. So it's going to make your stuff even better. And that was the whole point of me getting on here today, is because I've heard throughout, again, the career, the time that I've spent in this, how many engine outs you've had, how many different types of damage that you've had because of things not being built to certain specifications that I would require them to be built to, in order to keep everybody safe. Maybe we can reduce the amount of people getting injured in this sport.
Absolutely,
You know?
because right, I mean, you are a certified aircraft mechanic, A&P.
Correct.
And so you work on actual aircraft, and the difference between the stuff that you see here
Mhm.
and the stuff that you work on and certified aircraft, world of difference.
World of difference.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And what we're trying to do is come up with really better quality, better engineered frames, trikes, and quads to keep people a lot safer.
That's correct.
Any other questions out there?
yeah, Scuba, you want to take some?
Sure. Wow. I didn't know we had that many. Let's see. Let's see. Will it be broken down to be transferred, or will it be once it's built, you need a hauler?
It's going to be, you can fold it. And the idea is it's going to have a pivot point. You'll be able to remove your engine, and take the guard off in 3 sections. And then you can actually, once you've removed those 2, then you fold it over, and then you'll fold the other top back. And then the landing gear actually will come off and the suspension will come off, so that you can slide it into or on, on a smaller trailer.
When you said like take off your engine, are we talking about like that quick prop thing that we can pull off a prop and put it back on? Are you gonna have something similar like
Similar,
that?
but
where you
much more robust.
Okay, where
Yeah.
we can just take off the engine like that,
That's correct.
no problem.
Yes.
That's so much better than those darn bolt things that we got going on
I'm
right now.
assuming, because somebody asked, does it have A assist? I'm assuming if he's going to make it where it can do tandem also, there's going to be some type of frame that goes over. So you
Yes.
probably
It
will
be
have
a
A
full
assist.
roll cage. Yes, it will be classified as a full roll cage because of the diameters of the cage it's going to be itself. And you can hang the whole thing on the upper part of the roll cage. It's just going to be built that strong. But yeah, at the same time, it'll be lightweight, which is going to be really kind of fun to get the balance of the 2. But yes, that's the idea. And it will have a roll cage because if someone does tilt over on it for whatever reason, then I want them to be protected, so that they can stay in their little cocoon of protection, if you will. And it's at the same time, it's going to be easy to get into and easy to get out of. Because I'm going to build that into it as well. Also, one of the things I want you to remember too is if you're a beginning triker and you're more concerned about the tilt, one of the differences I'm making is that your landing gear can be shifted outward, making it wider, or making it narrower, and it's going to be a low center of gravity type trike. So lots of ideas are coming into it to make it even safer than what we've got out there.
Yeah, and we got a bunch of trikes out here now too, and with our people that have come in, they've come in with crutches and obviously with some disabilities, and we've noticed that the open front end open cockpit is a lot easier for people to get in and out of, except for, because some of them, they come down like this and arc down to the front wheel. And that just is very difficult for people to get in and out, especially when
Right.
they have crutches.
Yep.
Hey, speaking about that, I do have one. I do have a guy that has crutches and he wants to fly and be able to stow his crutches. So if he does land out someplace,
Yep.
so is that something that we can do too?
Oh,
Add-
absolutely.
Add on something like that?
Absolutely. I can, and that's part of the why I'm building that type of frame
Mhm.
is to add on, let's see, what do we got? Cigarette lighter, don't recommend it. You know, there's um you know, your other things that you've got, yeah, so
That's
there's all
funny.
kinds of ways to have different adaptations to it. And as time goes by and we do more tests and things like this, because I live, like I said, I work on airplanes, and where I work at the when I work on the airplanes, I have a huge airfield that I can test all this stuff with.
And
So-
you can bring it over here and we
Yes,
can
that
test it over
too.
here too.
Yes,
Yeah.
but we'll actually
I
do
like
most of the videos and
The
video.
suspension. Because
Yes,
that, you know, a lot of the times when we land, it's usually in an open field somewhere, and it's not usually just perfect smooth grass. You know, it's bumpy, so that suspension will help a lot.
we're gonna have a dual suspension type on it. I've got one specific type that I know makes it really easy. But and again, I'm being very vague because I haven't worked out all the details yet. But it's gonna have a dual suspension on it so that it's nice and easy to land. Really easy on our backs. And remember, I said a reclining seat, so you can actually lean back or lean forward and make that adjustment for yourself because not everybody is positioned the same.
And you like red, whereas leaning back like that with all that cushion on it too.
Oh, yeah,
That
you got,
is-
yeah, that was slick. Yeah, that was very
that is
comfortable going
nice.
down.
Yeah.
But I have all kinds of cool stuff that's going to happen with it. And it's actually, and also I'm working on a brake system. Y'all tell me what you think about having a brake system on it, but it's going to be an aft brake system, not on the front. And it's going to be simple pedal push with a bunch of other nifty things, potentially self-steering and some other things that are going
The
to be going into the dive.
self-steering is
Mhm.
amazing. What this guy's talking about for the self-steering thing. I don't know if you want to talk about that or not, but it's amazing.
Yep.
Hey, do we have any more questions? I think that we got a lot of questions that are popping up in the chat.
Yeah, you do. And man, Mac, it's dangerous. You're opening it up to suggestions. Can you add, can you
I'm
add?
open. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I want one of those little antennas with a tennis ball on top of it, you know?
Hey, satellite radio. Put me some satellite radio in there. That'll work.
It's
Yeah,
possible.
that's nice.
Anything's
Mhm.
possible. I mean, with the framework that I'm making, I mean, I can pretty much mount anything you want in there.
You know
I
what
mean,
would be really
seriously.
nice
Yeah.
is to have a little dash that sits down by your feet
Mhm.
that shows your temperatures, you know, if your exhaust and RPMs and all
Little
that
instrument
stuff. Right?
panel.
Fuel
instrument-
gauge. Put a
But here's
fuel
the-
gauge on it.
Fuel gauge. There you go.
Here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with running it down by your feet. Most
Okay.
people that are getting old, you know, we're not
Yeah.
wearing glass up there. So I'm gonna have it up here.
Good.
Somewhere where you can look over to the side and you're gonna be able to see those gauges.
Oh, so in other words, we have the roll cage. You have like an instrument and an instrument right there. Oh.
Actually, yeah, now something like that to, you know, that especially if it could be mounted different locations, you know, for field of vision or whatever, for your close up.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear you.
Totally doable. Absolutely. It's one of the freedoms of engineering is that ideas, I welcome any ideas that you have, because I'm not saying I know everything, because I really don't. I do know what I do know, but I'm always welcoming in outside input. And if someone, you know, I have a base model that I'm going to design and engineer, and if someone has an idea to add something to it, I'm all ears about that. I really am. So yeah.
Cool.
Any other questions in the super chat, guys?
Tony is bringing up something, and it is a valid point about copyright. So is it going to be open source, or are you going to copyright it, or how are you going to, or and maybe you haven't even thought of it yet.
Okay. You're talking about patented it. Because
Yes,
it's
not copyright. That's right.
patent copyright.
Well, that's something interesting too. Is like, would we want something open source like that? I mean, it is a nonprofit, could be open source. Real quick, guys, in the super chat, what do you think? Should this be like an open source because it is a nonprofit? Let us know in the super chat. Any other questions while they're going to let us know if it
If
should
you
be.
patent it, China's gonna come around. Who's making money off this? We need to make a clone of it, which would
They won't be able to put the Made in America.
no,
No.
and it would be inferior quality on top of it. It would be crap metal that would just fold. first time you landed.
Yeah, and I can attest to that. I used to work at a fabrication shop where we built tanks and things like that, and I was the QC or the quality control for that. And the materials and stuff that we had sent off a prototype to China to get built, and then we made the same one here. And when theirs came back from China, it had over 200 flaws in the
Wow.
material. Yeah, 200, and the
Wow.
tank was only a 10-foot by 10-foot tank. Something real simple to make with a couple of internal structures. Over 200 flaws in the material and the workmanship. So no,
Well, yeah, they're sending back a tank. They want it to fail. They're like,
it's a hydro. It was designed to hold pressure under fluids under pressure,
okay, so not a tank.
not a
But
tank
a
tank.
tank.
No, yeah,
Okay.
it was a hydro tank, so it was designed to hold water.
Gotcha.
But yeah, so I wouldn't trust sending it over there either. Not for life saving. Now, to me, this is life saving equipment, so I build it to
Yeah,
those standards.
it
I really
is.
do.
I think everybody should make all of the paramotors a lot safer. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, we're getting way too many hands that are being,
Mhm.
chopped. We have way too many accidents,
Mhm.
and frames that are buckling, and the props are shattering. There's just way too many flimsy things that are out there.
I agree. Totally
Yeah.
agree.
I guess another thing too, guys, we're looking for, I don't know if it's called a seamstress anymore, but someone that can sew and make really good harnesses.
Mhm.
Because I mean, I don't sew, do you?
Yes.
What does this guy not do? What does this guy not do?
I used to sew my own climbing harnesses. Come on.
Wow. Hey, we got a good guy here. I mean, I don't sew. I'll cook, but I don't sew. I guess whatever. Any other questions in the super chat? And of course, did anybody say anything about what they thought about being open source or, our own patent type of thing?
Greg says that he would patent it because someone's just gonna steal your technology and try to undercut you. Of course, I think China would do it anyways,
Yeah.
regardless, but he's
Yeah,
got
that's always the thing. You're always going to get someone who wants to reverse engineer something. That's just the way it is. That's the way that's even if you patent something, all they have to do is change one small thing and the patent doesn't matter.
Right.
So, and they can even patent their own stuff. So my goal is to, like I said, to build this in such a way to where it's straightforward. It has a really good design. And again, I'm not in it to make money. I'm in it to help who needs to be helped. And I'm in it to help people get into the sport without, having to, get a new lease on their own home or something, a mortgage on their home in order to get that. You know what I'm saying? So that's my goal. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, and then I'm going to design it in such a way that, and I've already got 2 different prototype designs that I'm already working on. But now that I'm here and I've got some engines and stuff that I can work with, it's going to actually go really fast. So my goal is to have a prototype up and working in the next 6 weeks. So we'll see how this all works out and pans out.
Are you using a CAD system? Like some kind of program or something to put things together?
SolidWorks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's cool.
Yep, I do SolidWorks, and then I do that for the general designing, and then most of it won't be CNC milled unless I find that there's more and more people wanting this, and then I'll change the production and actually the logistics of it a little bit so that I can have more parts readily available. It just depends on what the supply and demand is going to be for that.
I think you should have like at least 2 designs, one that's fully breakdownable, and then the other one could be, a more solid trike for the people that have toy haulers or whatever that don't have to break down the trike and they can just pull it up on there. Maybe they don't want the option to break it down. They want a solid piece. So I don't know.
That's what I've been telling him, that it's like you need one that's solid, that will stay solid, because there's people that don't want to break it down.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah,
And,
the breakdown one I would
and
want.
also too, is like I said, for schools here, I mean, I'd rather have one that's solid, that's not going to break down. The breakdown to me are weak points, but he says that he can engineer these things so the breakdowns are not weak points.
Nope.
And I think that having a solid machines over at schools would probably be good too. And like you said, scuba people that have a toy hauler, maybe they don't want to break it down.
And again, and just so you know, the weight class we're looking at between a larger trike right in the middle or to the light trikes. We're going to try to put the weight right in the middle of it. So that gives you more versatility to what you want to do. Could it be making in one solid piece? Oh yeah, absolutely. But with the fasteners and things like that, and the way that I'm going to build these, it's really not going to make that much difference because of how strong they're going to be. So,
I guess if you do have I mean, if you do make it to where there isn't any points that could break on your design that
Mhm.
does break down,
Mhm.
then it's just more convenient for them to be able to put it together
Mhm.
and or ship it.
That's
Because if
correct.
we ship it in the smaller box, it's going to be cheaper.
That's correct.
So I don't know, guys. What do you think? Should we have two different designs? We got the super chat there for a reason. What do you think? Have one design where it's all solid, or have or two designs?
I would definitely go with the portable option first. That's probably going to attract the most amount of people, but then you're going to have a few that are probably like, no, I'd rather have a solid unit. I think the portable one is going to cater to more people because of the fact that some people drive around in their little Prius. I need to be able to put my paramotor in my Prius. So,
Yeah.
you got to be able to make it to where it might be able to fit in a smaller vehicle. I mean, I wouldn't say a Prius, but a smaller vehicle.
Well, you're going to be able to take off all the landing gear. That's one of the benefits of what I'm building. You're going to be able to take off all the landing gear and slide it onto a trailer or onto the back of a truck pretty easily.
Would you be able to take off like the trike part and take off that front wheel and put on another one that would be a quad? Would you be able to interchange that?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I think that'd be a really good idea too, because some people really like the quads. Some people like the trikes.
And instead of having to buy a whole new setup, all you'd have to do is just, get the front part and make it however you, well, not sure make it, because like I said, I'm developed I wouldn't say I've developed it, but I'm kind of using an idea that's been used before, realistically speaking, by not a paramotor company, but by another technique and stuff that I've worked with before. It's kind of a self-driving type ordeal as well.
And maybe make the rear wouldn't really matter because you could just change out the wheels on the rear, but the front, maybe make the front fork a little wider. That way, say you want to switch to a beach tire, you could put a wider tire on there. Because if you make the fork narrow, you couldn't put a bigger tire in there because it would be too narrow. So just saying, like, if you had a wider fork.
That now these are going to be kind of the tires and stuff that I have in mind as part of the part of the suspension system. So realistically, when you think about it, it has 3 suspension systems to it. Okay. And tires that I have in mind, I will take some of the brunt force and then be easily replaceable, easily to work with, and they would last a long time.
Those beach tires that we have, those gray tires that to me, that feels great when we're driving it and flying. Is that the kind of tire that you're thinking about, or something different?
Something different.
Something different.
And it's going to be pretty slick. We're talking mag wheels here. I mean, like aluminum mag wheels that are lightweight.
I want spinners on mine. I'm just saying.
Okay, I got it.
So LED lights, yeah, man.
Yeah, the LED lights.
I just make it has like lasers that shoot out in pods that go in there. So as you're taking up, and you got a light show coming from your tires, anything is possible.
Hey, another thing too, I know that a lot of people like the LED stuff around. Is there any way that you could embed LEDs into this trike and make it easy? Engineers, I tell you. Oh yeah, easy. We'll just do whatever, because everyone likes to have LEDs on their trikes or on their paramotor.
Sure.
So if you could embed them, and would you be able to actually, I don't know, are there some motors out there that actually, or can we put on something that will actually generate electricity so we don't have to have battery packs?
Well, we can make
Mini generator.
We can make this solar powered.
But you're not a small battery's fine, because you're not, it's not like you're gonna be flying 8 to 10 hours.
LEDs only work off of 3 volts anyway. They're just use a very little bit of amps. You can have higher intensity LEDs, which I would recommend for some of these applications. But most of the time your LEDs, depending on how many you run, can run off of small batteries without a problem. Especially with the battery technology we have now, it should not be a problem. But then we can actually put a like on the brakes themselves, you can actually put a power generator. You ever have those old ones where you used to have
I was
the
just
lights off of your bicycle and it would actually run off the friction off of your tire?
Every time you pedal, you hear rear.
Trying to get that generator working.
Question, curb feelers go too far back. I'm just saying.
So the good news is you can do all this stuff. The bad news is it's going to be a $400,000 paramotor when we're all done.
Right?
that's the thing.
That's the cool thing about it is because a lot of the reasons we get that really high price tag is from R&D. Okay.
Right.
And R&D and the engineering aspect, and there's a huge overhead cost for these companies that build these. We don't have that.
Because we got this guy right here.
And like I said, I'm retired. I'm not in it for the money. I'm in it to build it, get it out there, and if it starts ebbing our sport into being more productive and more safer for those that want to get into it, and that's my goal.
Yeah.
Really, because I mean, the idea of flying has helped me so much. I've had to learn how to walk again. I've had to do a lot of things. I'm a survival instructor too, but I teach this part. I don't teach, well, I do teach the rest of it too, but this is what I teach. But getting people into the sky is nothing can compare to that. I can't teach
True.
what the sky teaches people. I can't teach what learning this sport teaches people, and I've been teaching that for over 25 years. So that's why I'm in this. And anything I can do to help people build a custom ride to get them into the sky,
Yeah.
to create that Zen area for
Pimp
themselves.
My Trike, a new show.
That's right. I was just gonna say that, Scuba. See?
Yeah, Pimp
I
My-
didn't hear it. What'd you
Crazy
say?
minds think alike.
Pimp My Trike,
Oh, Pimp My Trike.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could also do that. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Put a good
So-
sound system on there and the lights and
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's
get
totally
ready
doable.
to go, man.
Absolutely.
I didn't ask you this before, but I guess it just came up real quick, is electric trike or electric motors.
Mhm.
Do you have any engineering as far as like making an electric motor for paramotors? For
What do you mean, like for
le-
a motor
to
like to
fly?
pull the prop?
Yeah,
There's already companies out there and there's products readily available. Actually, engineering a motor would not be cost effective.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it would not be, because the motors you can get at a pretty decent price. And then the biggest problem is the technology behind the batteries. And that's the most costly thing.
Okay.
Could I build them? Yes, but it's not cost effective.
Well, if
Not
you
what
if
we're
you
doing.
already if we buy the motors,
Yes, I
would you
can
be
make
able
it-
to
yes.
frame it out and do that?
Matter of fact, the designs that I'm doing on this now, granted, remember we're trying to out this for a 300cc motor.
Right.
Okay. So to have that versatility of power, so you don't have to dump the
Beat me
throttle
to
every
it,
time.
Will.
Mhm.
And unless the electric motors can put out that kind of power, that's senseless to do that.
Well, I tell you what, the SP-140 that Open PPG makes, I flew that one, and I fly, most 185, I
Mhm.
fly the 220s,
Mhm.
and I fly 300. So I mean, I can kind of feel what the difference is.
Sure.
The SP-140 feels like it's a 220.
Well, that's doable.
So that's a lot of power, and and I don't know if you could use like maybe car batteries or something like that you could actually put them on the frame. That way it's
Car batteries don't put out
well,
enough power.
not car batteries, but batteries
would-
that put out that type of power.
Yeah, it would-
Not something that we have to make ourselves, but something that's already out there that we can use that amperage for.
I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's another dynamic altogether because we're also talking about weight, and that's going to be a key factor for batteries, and how to.
Right.
We talked about trikes. What about foot launch units? Are you gonna make a foot launch unit? So obviously you're gonna make a frame. Are you gonna make it where it can break down easy also, like the cage or the hoop?
Is that a question in the super chat?
It is a
It is.
question.
Okay.
It
And
is. a
I just
question?
added on to it, but yeah, they
All right,
asked
who asked the question?
Shannon Brooks,
Okay. And it was what information about
foot
Foot
launch frames.
okay.
I haven't really gotten that on design yet, but it has been a thought that I'm actually pushing in order to get there. But we're gonna not sort of take baby steps because those have already been taken. Now we're actually getting into the actual ordering the materials and things like that for the trikes. Now that does equivalent to be able to do foot launches, yes. But there's so many other facets that go along with that, and there's so many good designs out there that I'll have to take a closer look, to be honest with you. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I will tell you that it is in the thought, but I haven't started design work on that yet. But at some point, yes. But remember, I want to try to get as many people into the sky as we can, which is why we started with trikes, because
Right.
there's a lot of people that don't have that physical ability to do that. So, but yeah.
Yeah. So I think that once we really hone our skills when it comes to fabricating these trikes, transferring that over to a foot launch machine would probably be pretty easy.
Easy, very easy. Yeah. There's also some other things that's going to be really cool with the trikes and stuff that I can transfer over into the other. But again, there's a lot of good designs that are coming out right now that I'm still exploring and taking a close look at, because I want to be sure that we're not copying other design work. I want to be sure that we come up with a system that's going to be really good for a lot of people. And yes, we can fine tune it to every individual if we really need to. But of course, that's going to be something that is going to be required to do more engineering and more R&D on, because I'm not going to send anything out that's going to get someone hurt. I just won't do it.
No.
Again, that's why we're also starting with trikes, just food for thought. But yes, we can start doing design work after we get our trikes proofed. And my goal is to have them proofed and probably in production by the end of the summer at the very latest. And we'll see how this works out. You know, I mean, God's had all kinds of ways that he's
By the
showing
end
us.
of the summer, you better hurry up.
This is production. I'm not talking about. No, I'm talking about having prototype out within the next 6 weeks at the latest.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Then
moving
we're-
it right along.
Right, and
Nice.
then we're going to be flying these,
Yep.
making and tweaking it out.
Yep.
You know, with him being a triker and me being a
Mhm.
triker, you know,
Yeah.
we'll be able to feel, you know, it's like, hey, something needs to do this, or we
Mhm.
need to do this, or
Yep.
something like that. Tweak them up, and then you know, be able to, you know, maybe who else out there? Scuba Steve, you do trikes, right? Kyle's going to be doing trikes. So, Will, do you do trikes at all?
Never.
You're not gonna be able to notice because you got a Cosmo 300 on the back, man. It'll blow through any problem that's on the trike. You just power it through it.
Howard solved a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Well, you know, but the thing is too, it's not just about, you know, punching it and going.
Mhm.
It's about being able to taxi. You know, when you can taxi that thing and you can tip the wing and tip drag it, bring it back up, tip drag it and bring it back up, and you're just taxiing along, do your figure eights and your infinites.
Mhm.
That's where it's all about. You know, anybody can just punch it and go. We
Yeah.
want to make sure, you know, it feels good
Mhm.
when we are taxiing and it feels nice and stable.
Mhm.
You know, taking off, then coming in for a landing
Mhm.
too.
And we're working on a self-steering design. So that's
Man, you
gonna
got
be
to tell them
specific.
about that stuff.
Oh,
Oh
come
my
on.
gosh,
All right. So, but it's
it's so
instead of,
exciting. So exciting.
yeah, it is. There's a lot of things that are going to it to make it user friendly. And remember, we started this idea to help veterans, but it's not just veterans we're looking to help.
Exactly.
It is anyone who wants to get into the sky, hopefully, no matter what their disability is.
Right.
Obviously quadriplegic, that's going to be pretty tough. But if a person has the ability to use some of their appendages to be able to handle the flying of the kite, we can work with the rest. And then we'll just work with it in order to figure out exactly what we need to do. But I don't give up on anybody. If we can figure it out, we'll make it happen.
Well, also too, we have a couple of our trainer trikes that's been fabricated too, by Mark down in Florida
Mhm.
from Air Sports USA.
Mhm.
And he actually designs them like the PPCs, where you can actually use your feet to steer
Mhm.
the wing instead of, you know, using your hands.
Yeah.
So if you're missing a hand, you can still throttle with your hand and steer with your feet.
Sure.
So, I mean, there's many different ways that we can fabricate these machines to work with anybody that's
Mhm.
that depending on who they are and what their disability may be,
Correct.
we can work with it.
Yep. And also there's another idea that I just came up with. You know, if
Uh-huh.
you've got two people that don't have, or you have a person that doesn't have arms, but they have the use of their legs, the throttle can be operated by a mouse switch.
Yeah, they actually have the
Mhm.
the mouth throttles.
Yeah.
So I mean that was actually one of the earliest designs
Was.
with mouth throttles.
Yeah. So I mean, there's very little limitations on what we have the ability to do. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes up, because it's every challenge that I get, I love to see that spark that comes into a person's eye when they've done something that they thought they never could. It's always been amazing. So I look forward to seeing how this is going to turn out, and I'm enjoying the process of it every day. So
Absolutely.
absolutely. Yeah. Because I mean, I was given all this knowledge for a reason. Like I said, I don't know all of it, but with what I do know and with the resources I have, I'm looking forward to helping a bunch of people. So yeah.
Absolutely. Anybody have any questions in the super chat or on the panel?
So Tony is asking, he says, what about steering dampener, like a motorcycle, so the wheel doesn't get wheel wobble?
Yes. Yes, we will actually have the steering dampeners, adjustable steering dampeners. I was looking at a
Is that
couple
gonna
of,
be, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but is it gonna be similar like red?
it's gonna be just like red.
Okay, okay.
Okay. I was taking a look at some designs today and getting some ideas about how to make it easier. And again, it also depends on what your, what that front end's going to be like. Because remember, I told you you can take the front end out
Right.
and then change that either to a tandem or you can change it to where it's a quad instead of a trike. But in order to make it quote unquote self-steering, I haven't quite worked it out. My mind's working on it as we speak, how to work a quad into a self-steering type deal. But there
That's
will
a
be
little bit different than a trike.
correct. A little bit different on the angles and its approach and the
Mhm.
surface, because I'll have to figure out a dampening system, not just, you know, back and forth dampening like this, but also like this. And that's something I
Gotcha.
haven't worked out just yet. Because I just thought of it. Someone just asked the question. However, by the end of the evening, I will have an answer.
So, you know, that, and I'm just like an average Joe. I don't know the first thing about fabricating, but it would seem to me, and Tony mentioned it, something about this, but if you got something that you can take apart, that means you've got things you have to put together, which would mean you would have more failure points. Or is that a challenge, or how do you overcome that?
You overcome it with first getting the right materials. Okay.
Right.
A lot of the trikes that I've seen are made to just be cheap materials. I mean, that granted, it's all aluminum, the
Mhm.
stuff that I've seen. Granted, you do have some stainless steels and some different trikes, and you do have some other materials. But the materials that I'm going to be using, that's where the fabrication starts. Plain and simple, is getting the best materials you possibly can, and then working with that material to create the best solution. Okay. Yes, are there's any chance for anything, whether it's bolted or whether it's welded,
Mhm.
depending on how you fly, how you land, what you run into, and your skill set, you're going to damage it no matter what.
Mhm.
So
All right.
the cool thing about the manufacturing techniques that I'm going to be doing, okay, and that I have in mind to do with very, very minimal type welds, if it's even required, because at this point, it's not even required to have a weld in there, where the parts are easily interchangeable. So really, you can either send your track off that's been welded and get a really expensive part in, because welding and fabrication is expensive, or you can get something that's a little more robust that still works with the dynamics of what I'm doing and what we're building, and it's just an easy user replaceable type item.
You
So
have a
Keeping it.
You have a
Oh.
point there, because even though, you know, your paramotor, it doesn't come in, it's not formed in one piece, it's welded. So each weld would be a connection point if you think about it, and that's subject to break. So yeah, I can see how the starting with good material and good workmanship would make the difference.
Yes, and it's
Sorry,
all
go ahead.
is it going to be limited to the Cosmo 300? Are you going to make the frame where you can swap out different motors? And is it going to use its own harness or the harness that's already on said motor?
what we're going to do is presently I was building the design around that size engine, the 300 or a couple of different other vehicles that I'm going to be testing, but we're going to have different mounting plates. The mounting plates
Okay.
will, yeah. And once you have the mounting plate, that we'll have for a specific engine mounting option, the angles, everything that's required in order to run it efficiently and have it where you're coming in for your landing, you have a nice rear touchdown first, as opposed to, you know, a flat touchdown. You know, with all the rest of it that's coming into place, it's going to be with a variety of motors, to be honest with you. I've worked out the weights and stuff and the balance and the material costs and all this other stuff that's going along with it, in order to run the size engine I'm talking about. But again, it's modular.
Well, we're
That's
only
the beauty
talking
of it.
about the Cosmo 300 because of the power behind
Yeah.
it, because we've seen people that, I mean, if you're at 250 pounds
Mhm.
and you're running a trike with a Moster 185,
Mhm.
that does not have very much lift.
Mhm.
However, if you're only, you know, 150 or only 200 pounds,
Mhm.
you know, and you have a lighter trike, man, I think can, you know,
Mhm.
rocket ship you up. So it really depends on your weight, the weight of the trike, your
Mhm.
bells and whistles,
Mhm.
and having different mounting plates. You can put on any type of, you know, any type of engine that you want.
Mhm.
And, you know, everything else is going to be third party anyway, right? I mean, third party is going to be your engines, your throttles. I would like to have off-grid throttles for everything.
Well,
off-grid. Right, I
even
really,
Tony's saying I need the 300. I'm a big boy. I'm thinking about the weight of the actual trike itself. It's obviously, I mean, if he's building between, you know, the heavy PPG trikes that they have for power parachute, PPC trikes, in between a normal trike and a PPC trike. And if it's going to be that heavy, then you probably do want the stronger engine
I
because
don't think that
They're
you
only-
didn't say anything about the PPC because
No,
the
no, no.
beast, that's 250
that's
pounds.
way, no, I'm only talking probably between 100 to 125 pounds for the whole trike.
okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be a lightweight trike, but it's going to be built out of robust materials. And matter of fact, the loop, the blade guard, not
The hoop.
the hoop,
Yeah.
it's going to be made out of composites.
Oh, and he was telling me about
Yeah.
this and how he's going to design the hoop
Mhm.
and stuff. And we're going to recess the hoop is going to have the prop inside the hoop. So, you know, I don't understand why there's so many different hoops out there where the blade, where our prop is on the outside.
It has to do with the way that the engines are mounted. The fact that different engines have different distances
Mhm.
between where the prop goes and where it was initially designed to hold a certain type of motor.
But don't you think that the prop should be within your
It should,
prop guard?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. But the design that we're doing is, like I said, it has all aerodynamic type tubing and things like that that's going to be put into it. So the drag coefficient will be less, so it'll be more efficient in the air, and easier to maneuver. And also we're going to, yes, you will be able to mount different engines to it, but we're going to limit the lower range of the engines to probably just a 185. But I don't know for sure yet. As we go by and as we do more R&D on how things float and how things work with this, we'll be able to give more of a rundown as to what engines we can put on it. So, and then we'll, at some point, yes, I'll be making plates for mounting purposes and things like that. Because again, I want to make this as easy to work with as possible, very user friendly, which a lot of the trikes, when you're talking about the way it's put together, and I've seen a lot of missed just in the short time I've been in the power paragliding. I've seen a lot of things that really raise my eyebrow, maintenance actions that are really raising my eyebrows, and like, holy mackerel, that is too complicated for the average person to go out and assemble. So I want to try to keep it as simple as I can.
And I think
With-
about as far as the harnesses,
Yeah.
we're going to do that retracting seat
Yes.
first. So
It's going to be a seat first.
right. So our first design is going to be designed hopefully for people that, you know, want to have a trike.
Mhm.
It has the 5-point harness. It's retractable, so it's more comfortable,
Yep.
relaxing.
Yep.
And then after we get that design and get that out there, our
Yep.
next one would be probably a light trike where you put your foot launch motor on the light trike.
Correct.
See, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, no, right.
And you know, and then we'll probably go from that to a foot launch.
Yes,
I would assume
that's part of it. But also it's going to be, I was just thinking at the same time we were talking about that. One of the things that we're going to be designing is the difference in lengths for different heights of people.
Yes, this
Um,
has been this has been an issue
Mhm.
for people over here because a lot of the trikes that we have, you know, it's either too far, you know,
Mhm.
too long where they can't put their feet on it, or too close where your knees are up like
Mhm.
this.
Yep.
And it's been very difficult. And
Yep.
he's come up with this really, and I've been thinking about different things too. It's like, well, can we move the bar this way? Can we move the whole thing forward and backwards? Can we just move the seats?
Mhm.
And he tells me about these engineering things that I just don't have the concept of.
Mhm.
And he came up with this really awesome way of being able to extend it or bring it back.
Mhm.
Yeah. What was it?
Basically it's going to have a center mast, if you will, a center mast, and that'll have your entire nose landing gear will be attached in that mast. So it slides in a compartment. In order to adjust the length of it and make it where you can adjust it an inch out at a time, it's going to have different placements and different pins and things like that to be able to make it more customized lengths for the person.
Which will make a huge difference for schools, obviously, but also too, you know, you can get yourself the trike that is designed for your length. How tall are you? I'm 6'2".
Mhm.
Well, you'll need this one with this particular front mount.
Yep.
So it'd be more designed for you and your height.
And if you're talking about, I remember someone had talked about, okay, is it going to be stress points on this? Because if we're talking about changing lengths with something down the mast, if you will, you know, because you're talking about a quick release pin and things like that, that's arranged in a certain way so it doesn't lose any of its strength.
Right.
That's going to be a potential fail point. Well, there's sacrificial parts that keep it from happening. It's a whole engineering type deal.
And he was telling me about this
yeah.
too. Just, I mean, this brain that he has, it's just incredible. But yeah, so being able to pull that out and bring it back and having enough of that tubing in there, kind of like the retractor trike. That retractor trike has tubing all the way through.
Mhm.
So when it is fully extended, it's still solid.
Right.
So that's kind of on the same, I guess, the same idea,
Mhm.
the retractor trike, where
Similar.
it can go out, but then it can stop at a certain point and put pins in it.
Mhm. Similar.
That's amazing.
Just a slightly different type concept because I've got 3 basic designs on how I'm working with that one.
Mhm.
I'm just haven't had a chance to do R&D on it to figure out what the best design possibility is going to be.
We've been talking basically all day about this. So this little podcast that's been going on for just 50 minutes so far, he and I have been talking all day long about this.
Mhm.
And I wish that we would have had a camera going all day long, because this engineer, I mean, he's talking about so many incredible things that I never even thought of.
Mhm.
And this stuff is just wild, just in his brain at all times. Old Marine Corps, man, I
Mhm.
tell you.
Yeah.
Good.
When I'm passionate about something, it just kind of flows too. I'm passionate about helping people get into the sky,
Mm.
and because it's made a huge difference in my life. I mean, yeah, I started with skydiving, back in 2010, but it doesn't compare to this. It just doesn't,
It doesn't.
and this has more, it's more, what's the word? Pure?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's more pure and getting you to the sky and just giving you the experience of capturing that sensation of flight. Everybody here knows what I'm talking about,
exactly.
and and the more people I can make that available to, the better life is going to be for a lot of people.
And
So,
skydiving is great, but you got to wait for a plane to take you
yeah,
up.
that's the
This right
biggest
here,
thing.
you just
Yeah.
you just go,
Just get in and
you can get up to
enjoy.
whatever altitude you want, cut your motor, and then now you're a glider because we're
Mhm.
powered paragliders. Well, even
Yeah.
on a trike, you're still
Yeah,
paragliding.
exactly.
So you can still paraglide
Mhm.
on a trike. I tell
Yeah.
you, trikes are awesome.
Yeah.
I know there's so many people out there. It's like they refuse to do the trike thing.
Mhm.
They don't want to do it because they want to be that foot launch guy. But let me tell you something. You go out to a fly-in and the wind shifts where you have to go all the way across that way to come this way.
Mhm.
That trike really helps. Think about this. You bolt on 4 bolts or however you want to do this. You get your wing and your wing bag, start it up, and you drive over there.
Mhm.
You take off those 4 bolts.
Mhm.
Now you're over there. Now you have a foot launch. If you really want to do it,
Mhm.
go foot launch,
Mhm.
right? You fly around, have fun, land right there, bolt it back on, drive back over here.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, these light trikes are really amazing.
Mhm.
And if we can do something that's really easy to bolt on just for transportation of
Mhm.
your
Sure.
foot launch machine from one end of the field to the other, that would be just as good.
In fact, I just came up with a design for that.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously. I mean, and make it where it's still maneuverable, even if you're under the trike. I mean, literally, you won't even notice that the track is there because of the
Mhm.
materials I'm going to be using. And yeah, you can actually make it to where it licks in, lock, get a curved clop lock. Yeah. Actually, you can attach it to the whole thing and mount.
So I had a curious question about that trike, if you don't mind.
Oh, go ahead.
Are you going to make it possible to where if they have just a single seated trike, can you actually add on a part of a tandem?
Yes,
Something we're
absolutely.
drawing
Yeah.
out?
Again, just like you add on the entire front section where you can have a quad, you can actually add on an entire seating section with another racing seat, if you will, with a 5-point harness, and then it extends out. The framework will extend out to that front part, and it's all one unit that you would actually click into the mod.
I wasn't sure with adding another seat if that would compromise the strength on it if you had to use a different frame. So that's why I was curious about.
I mean, that's the reason I'm making it so robust, is because I'm already thinking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, I want to make this the ability, keep it kind of a medium weight, because there's really no way to make it safe if it's really, really lightweight. So if I'm making it a medium weight with the materials and fabrication techniques that I'm talking about, we should be able to just make it simple where you can add on to it with very minimal training. You can add on to it. And then we can even do that over Zoom, saying, okay, this is where your connection points are. This is how you connect it to make sure these are your torques you're putting on your fasteners. And then to make sure that if you want to adjust it any time in the field, just click it on, get it rocking.
Interesting that you just said mods.
Mhm.
So maybe you can actually do different. I mean, obviously you have to put on a different plate to put on a different engine. So maybe there's different mods that you can actually put on. So you have your base trike
Mhm.
or quad,
Mhm.
and then you put on different mods
Mhm.
for what you want. Your racing, your 5-point harness,
Yep.
retractable seat
Yep.
mod,
Mhm.
your quad mod,
Mhm.
your trike mod, you know, your
Just
tandem.
want to say that it's 3 minutes till, I guess, 8 o'clock in your neighborhood and you hadn't done the spinning wheel yet. And Will said he had to leave in exactly 1 hour.
Uh-oh, all right, let's go ahead and do this spinny wheel of windy things. But before we do that, let's go ahead and get us our thumbnail. And yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because look at
Thumbs.
Linda, she's already blind. She's already blind, so we can do this. And I will do this. No, I ain't
That's
gonna-
scary.
No, don't do that. No, do that. All right, sounds good. Ready?
All right. Are you ready?
No.
Z.
1, 2, 3. We got it. Oh, there was one thing. There was one thing though. John Wayne says ham, so I'm not sure what that means, but I think he's requesting a ham radio on board.
Or he's calling us hams.
Could be that too.
Yeah, we're hamming it up today. Yeah, we're hamming it up. But wouldn't that ham would be part of your helmet, right?
There's all kinds of, like I said, all kinds of things that we can do. Obviously, communication installation is really important. I haven't worked that part out because I'm still working on the structural aspect. But all the mods and things like that, all the extras and stuff that we need in order to fly, that will be incorporated with the design. Yes, absolutely.
Sweet. This has been a really awesome podcast. Look how quick that hour went. Look how,
Yeah.
look how
It went
quick
fast.
today.
Yeah,
They went
it's
by so
freaking
quick. I mean,
Yeah.
all they did was yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was great. Heck yeah.
Loved
I'm
it.
like super excited about all the stuff that you're doing, Brandon. I mean, I can't stop smiling. You keep talking about doing, different things with the trikes and building trikes, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so
Absolutely.
awesome. So I
Maybe
can't,
we
I look
could do a
forward to
remote
next
control
week.
trike.
That's for sure.
The remote control trike where you
All
sit like
right.
Linda in, and now you fly Linda around like a RC point.
I know, right?
I want a transformer trike that I can have a remote and hit the button and watch it unfold and put itself together. Work on that one after the first one there.
Now we're talking actuators. Now,
There.
Yeah.
Can you
Oh
do it?
yeah. Gotta
Yes.
put actuator. Might make it a little heavy though.
Oh,
All right, Linda.
how heavy you want this thing to be?
I know, right? All right, Linda, all you, girl.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say hi to all my chatters. Okay. Real quick here. We got John Wayne Cowboy in the house. Ellen Houston, lovely. How are you tonight? Joseph Hudgens. Bill H. Kevin Houston. Yeah, dude. Eve Autry, Scuba in the house. Kramer, my lovely Kramer. Greg Laney, what's up? We got Mac in the house. Woohoo! Tom Thompson, PPG. Welcome, welcome. Tony Marzano, Mr. Vegas in the house. Lovely Munchkin. I love you, girl. We got James in the house. Shannon Brooks. Kyle Neal. Angela Presley. Hello, my lovely. The other Nick. Just want to fly. Jade, my girl. How are you, girlfriend? We got PPG Trike Jockey Z. Daniel Sagvold. And next Batman in the house tonight. So,
Yeah, and shout out to Daniel Sagvold. I guess this is his first time watching, so welcome, man.
oh,
Welcome, Daniel.
Welcome. Good luck,
Oh,
chatters.
I didn't say Sunday, what was that? That was yesterday when I went flying. We had our it was a paraglider pilot. He took his first PPG flight yesterday, which was awesome, but it was the worst conditions you could have ever launched somebody with. I wouldn't even go up.
Yeah.
I was like, really? You're gonna put him in the air? Yeah, he's ready. And he did great, but it scared the crap out of me.
Oh,
It was a
wow. That's cool.
one-step reverse launch, and the wind was pretty strong at that point, but he managed to do fine. It was awesome.
I'm gonna say Shannon. I'm gonna
No, you
say.
can't say it until it starts spinning.
Sorry,
Oh.
sir. I
Otherwise,
forgot
I'll
the
say-
rules. I forgot the rules.
All right, you ready?
Ready when you
Yep.
are, buddy.
All right. I'll say Kyle.
Oh, is it
I'll
spinning
say-
now?
Yep.
It's got
It's
slow
spinning.
frame rates.
Who's it gonna be?
I say.
I'm gonna say
what?
Mac because he's here and it's rigged.
No.
Joseph
Okay.
Hudgens.
Last time I was here.
Just guessing
Right.
one.
It's rigged. It's gonna be Mac.
It's rigged.
Who's it,
Can I-
Linda?
Can I
Is it
say it
spinning?
now? Can I
Yeah.
say it now, Will? Oh, okay. Shannon Brooks. Welcome,
it-
Shannon. Good
Well, we're
luck.
getting at least 2
Hopefully-
planes a second.
Hopefully Daniel, you said Daniel was first time here, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So hopefully Daniel, it looks like it is. It's gonna be Daniel. Is it gonna be Daniel?
Just keep it going.
Daniel, I sure wanted it to be you, bud.
It's getting like, whoa.
It's getting like, whoa.
It's
Angela or
still
Greg.
zipping
I'm thinking
around.
Greg.
Ding.
Is it gonna be Greg?
I think it's gonna be Greg Laney.
Greg the awesome Laney?
See, it's rigged. It's rigged for
There
Greg.
you go.
So Greg, all you have to do is get up with Ron over at Lone Star Paramotor. So you can email him, ron@lonestarparamotor.com. Let him know that you won something on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor podcast or Clearprop TV, and he will send something out to you.
Yeah, just
Winner,
go,
winner,
hey,
chicken
Ron,
dinner.
I won something. He'll
I
send you-
won something. I think it's a
Won
Paramotor. Yeah, it's a Paramotor. And if you're down in the Lone Star area, if you want to get good
Yeah.
training, go down and check out LoneStarParamotor.com.
I think I want a paramotor on the spinning wheel.
Yeah, that went free training down there. Come on over. We'll find out what you
Yeah.
want.
okay.
We'll give you 10% off or something. All
Very
right,
cool.
sounds good.
Very
And Will
cool.
Fly unfortunately has to head on out. So Will, thank you so much for everything that you do.
Thank
Not
you, Will.
only the spinny wheel of winning things God over here, but he is also the treasurer of our nonprofit organization Runs the Sky. So thank you very much, Will, for everything you do, buddy.
Welcome,
Thank
man.
you,
And a
Will.
couple shout outs. If you live in the Southeast, check out our Paramotor page. It's Southeast Paramotor. And if you want to check out my videos, you can search YouTube for Will Fly or online willflyppg.com. It's been a pleasure, guys.
Okay.
And Matt, thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
Hey,
Yeah,
Will,
anything
is there
tomorrow,
is there
Will?
a show tomorrow night, Will?
Yeah, oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, tomorrow night,
Okay.
8 o'clock on YouTube. To get to it, you go to ppgshane.com.
Okay.
We talk paramotors, but that's not all we talk, and we don't have any idea until we start talking what the topic's going to be. So join us and
Okay.
love to have
8 o'clock
Okay.
Central Standard,
you.
Eastern. What is it?
Eastern.
Yeah,
Eight
we're
So
on the
7,
East Coast over
7
here.
o'clock Central, right? Is that how it
7
works?
o'clock Central, 6 o'clock, what, Mountain, 5 o'clock, what is it, Pacific? But it's recorded, so if you miss it, you can still watch.
Okay. Good, because I got a good funny for Shaney tomorrow night. I want to save it.
I'm
Oh,
looking
wait.
Now
forward
how
to it.
I think of these little joke things. So I got a good one for him tomorrow.
We all have fun. Good night.
Yeah, we-
Bye.
All right. Well, thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate you.
Linda,
Yeah,
did
but-
you line up your tandem flight yet?
Yeah, Linda.
Linda?
Huh?
Linda?
What? Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's all set up. Yeah.
Oh, awesome. So you are going to get to fly. Cool.
Oh, they
I was
got me
worried.
covered, dude. I got family, I got my Jade and my Eric.
I know
They
people
already-
and stuff.
They took care of me. They took care of me. They got a hold
Nice.
of Alexis and we're good. We're good.
Yay.
The weather cooperates and everything. Yeah, I'm
I
not
feel
worried.
bad for her. She gets to fly once a year and she was not going to be able to this year. And I'm like, dang, that sucks. But yeah, now she gets to. So cool.
Oh, yeah. And well, Bonnie, like I told you, Bonnie and Brian are gonna be there. So Bonnie's gonna do the videos and everything.
Oh,
So,
awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, she's gonna be my camera girl and all that stuff. So I know, I already was talking yesterday to my daughter-in-law about, packing the cooler, what we're gonna put in the cooler for the day and this and that, because they're just gonna drop me off for the day. Let me run rampant, It'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. As long as the weather cooperates, right? So
Oh,
yeah. we'll s-
Or
shall
one of the days
see.
it will, at least for 5 minutes or 20.
It'll be a lot of fun. Very cool. Well, I'm glad you did okay, Scuba.
Yeah.
Don't scare us like that. Jeez.
The takeoff was scary, but I mean, it was a quick fix, thank goodness. The landing went great though. That was the first time I landed, because that was my second flight on the trike. The first one was a bad landing because I almost hit my truck. The second one was nice and smooth. So that
Yeah.
felt way better landing that way.
I thought you were trying out fancy maneuvers up there at first, and I'm like, oh, whoa, look
No,
at
no, it's
what?
because that brake was caught and it was pulling so hard. So when I let it go, it instantly swung back the other way. So you could see me oscillate when I first took off. Yeah. Then it straightened
Yeah.
out.
That was a bleeping moment. That's all I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
It
Yeah.
was a pucker moment for me.
That's okay. No, I'm super excited about all this. Really am.
Me
Oh, you're,
too.
6 weeks for a prototype, man. I can't wait to see what he comes up with. This is gonna
I
be
know.
Even less, I'm not sure yet. I've already been on it for, well, since I started taking a look at them in March.
Right.
Yeah.
Been about a month.
So I've already got, like I said, two
Go.
designs worked
Here you go.
out. Doing the last parts to the design work. I've already
Yeah.
done the materials allocation. Now I'm actually getting the tooling and everything. I'm buying lathes and all the other stuff I need to in order to fabricate. So Yep.
nice.
yep.
I
So
like it.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Me too.
Because I have a I have a 3,500 foot runway that I can go try this track on to figure out what works and what doesn't. And about
That's cool.
134 acres at the drop zone that I work at. Yeah. So in order to try
Wow.
and test.
Really, really cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be friggin' awesome. So and because it's North Texas, I mean the ground cracks open a lot. So I'll be able to try out the suspension and stuff working there. So it's actually a pretty good test ground to be able to work it with. So yeah. So I'm looking
Very
forward
nice.
and I'll be giving y'all updates over time. So let y'all know how it's all coming out and yeah, and then again, did we get much response on patent it or not?
Yeah. What would they say about as far as open source or patent?
They didn't really, nobody said much. Once we started talking about China and stuff, I mean,
Yeah.
it's, if they're gonna copy it, they're gonna copy it anyway, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that's clearly up to you guys, whether you patent it or not, but
Yeah, we'll
they'll
see.
just change
They're-
one thing, like you said, and then patent it for themselves. Oh no, it's a whole new design because we put different bolts on our wheels.
Yeah. But I think you're correct. I think putting, made in the USA on various components is going to make a big difference on how it goes here in the US because
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are tired of getting products. I mean, is it easy, convenient, things like that? Yeah, but when you're talking life-saving gear, I wouldn't get it from China. Yeah.
No, we already saw the LA Express.
Yeah, no. So, and I mean, all my skydiving gear is made here in the USA, handmade. So it was worth every bit that I put into it. I've spent $10,000 just on my skydiving gear. And that's just one rig. So,
That's crazy.
but it is what it is. I mean, I'm not going to go into details about what it is, but building something like this and making it cost effective for people is a huge, it's going to be fun building it because yeah.
It's
Because
gonna be fun flying it.
yeah. I mean, because the materials, well, I guess it doesn't matter how much it costs, but let's just say that, yeah, it's still gonna be cost effective and be robust and everything that you want to do.
I thought about building a trike,
Mhm.
but there is, because I was like, you know what? I'll just go around the neighborhood and people that throw metal and stuff away, I'll just get all this metal. No metal is safe in my neighborhood.
Right.
If it's on the street longer than 5 minutes, it's gone.
Yeah. for
There's
sure.
a guy that's like roams, I don't know. That I put something on the street, and by the time I turn around, it's gone. It's like, what in the hell, dude? They're fast.
Hey, Kyle, is there anything else in the super chat?
Yeah, a little while back, Kramer did ask a question for you, sir. He said, can you design a trailer that hooks on the back of a trike so I can carry my wing out to the field? I have a 31-meter Mac Para charger and it's too big to carry in my lap.
Oh, like a trailer that'll hook to the paramotor, like just a little caddy behind it with like a little, almost like a wheelbarrow, so you could throw your wing
But
into.
you got a prop spinning though.
Actually, what I'm going to be designing is I've noticed that sometimes that people will actually clamp it onto the framework itself. The bag will be clamped onto the framework. So I'm going to have either it's going to be clamped on here or it's going to be above.
What the hell?
Because we're also going to be running ductwork into the engine itself for better cooling. And a few other different design prototypes that I'm working to try to minimize the amount of failures because of overheating and at altitude.
Had a bug that dive bombed me.
I saw that. So it's that hair.
Yeah, if it's a 31-meter wing, then she's probably got a pretty big sack. So it would sit like, especially if you had a dual pole frame going, it could just literally sit on top.
That's the idea. Exactly. And I mean, what we could do is develop a suspension system, like a netting that goes over the top part of it, so that
Right.
she can actually put that on top, like a kind of a hammock type netting, so that they
Right.
can actually put their wing bag and everything on top there. And then when they get to where they are, then they can actually just take all that stuff down and,
Hey,
store it.
tomorrow, let's look at these trikes that we have and see what we could do as far as like putting something on there that could hold the wing bag. Cause I never thought about, it's difficult for some people to hold that wing bag because I just throw it on my lap and I just go drive.
Okay, so here's the idea. You can go to your motorcycle shop
Mhm.
and they have these bungee nets that go over the back seat of the motorcycle.
Right.
You can take that because it has big C clips that are on there, all right, polymer clips, and you can stretch that across the top part of your trike. Especially if you have an open, especially if you have an open frame where the frame comes down sideways, you can put that on top and then put your parachute on, or put the wing on top of that. That's the design idea.
Tomorrow we're gonna look at the trikes that we have here.
Yeah.
And our quads
That would work there.
and kind of, I guess we'll try to figure that out.
Yep.
Because
Already got it. Yep.
he got it, obviously, but I don't. I think I need more sleep because half the crap that you're saying today goes
I
whoosh.
tried to keep it out of the
Whoosh.
Greek. You said you like Greek.
I like Greek yogurt.
You're gonna get so many ideas, you're gonna have too much stuff on that freaking frame.
No, actually, the critical part is, of course, the balance. But other
Yeah.
than that, no, I've been designing and engineering things for a very long time. And I've learned to compartmentalize, to kind of work at different ideas and different things along the path of my actually developing the prototypes. So,
Okay, good.
I fabricated overland trailers. Like I said, I retired 5 years ago and built my own overland trailer to go anywhere that I want it to go. And I just enjoyed designing things. So I do it all the time. So don't worry about the overload. I'm really excited on getting this done because I think it's for a great reason. I
Yeah.
really do. And because the sky isn't just meant for people that are completely able. It's meant for everybody,
It is.
not just to look up at, not to just wonder about, but to be a part of it.
I went to get my hair cut yesterday, and these two guys, it's funny because you got a paramotor on the back of your car. Everybody's got to come and ask you, what the hell is that? Blah, blah, blah. But this
Yeah.
guy pulled up in his wheelchair. I've seen disabled people before, but I was like, man, and he said it was a motorcycle accident, but he was missing both of his legs at the kneecap. Every one of his fingers were nubs, except for his left thumb. That's all he had was his left thumb. And he said he was having a bad day because he had a splinter in that thumb and had to go to the hospital to get it removed. So he had no way, he can't even grab the splinter out. He had to go to the hospital. I'm like, dude, that sucks. And yeah, it was. And so I could, I was like, I wonder if he's, interested in the flight. I don't think he was, but it was just sad to see that he was in bad shape. Whatever.
I could actually develop something for him.
I would think, because he's still got fingers. It's just he doesn't have his whole fingers. He had nubs, but
As long as he can hold that throttle, even with that thumb, we can modify it to make it to where it works like that and put a cam throttle on it.
And also too, if we can we can put some sort of glove on there too
that's
that
what I'm
can help.
talking
Yeah.
about. And then have it wrist strapped on.
Yeah, there you
Absolutely. Hence the sewing. Hello.
Once again.
Right.
So, and then for his turning, because he's got it cut off at the knees.
Yeah.
He has use of both. Does he have use of both arms?
Yes.
Right. So we could actually make it to where his hands hold on to the brakes and have it clipped on if he can't use his fingers. And we can make it to where the gloves themselves will actually clip onto your brakes using magnets or something of that nature. And then he can use his body shift in order to steer the trike. Or since we're going to be developing a self-steering trike, what the self-steering means is that if you need to go left, you pull left on your brake. As long as your wing is up, you pull left on the brake and the trike naturally moves left. Same thing if you pull right, it naturally moves right.
It must be an engineer or something.
I don't know. I'm still learning. But yeah, so it's going to be fun. And the biggest challenge, of course, is, and yes, I've already got an idea about having bigger tires on it, which is why I'm coming to like a middle ground for the tire. It's going to be, It's going to be one that you can inflate, yes, but it's also going to be on a mag wheel, so it's going to look really sharp. Because I mean, imagine flying into any kind of event or whatever, and of course, people are naturally going to come up and talk to you. But when you have something that's really slick and something that's personally yours, you can
And
really, really shine with it.
spinners,
And
right?
spinners.
Scuba spinners, right?
Yeah, and then it's going to have brakes. Oh, speaking of which, what do y'all think? This is a question that I had earlier that I really would like for y'all to answer. What do y'all think is more important on a trike? Front brake or back brakes? Or any brakes at all?
Brakes are
Yeah.
good because some people do land near hills or something.
Yep.
Even the point to where you could push the brake and then push a pin to lock the brake so that it can stay on an incline or something. Because
Interesting.
emergency type
We
brake.
just talked
Mhm.
about that too. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
And then, okay, cool. And
yeah, I
then,
think it's better for the back because if you do the front brake and then say you get somebody to get scared and all of a sudden slams on the brake and it's a front brake, they're gonna flip the trike up in the air. I mean, rear, you're in good shape there. So
agreed.
So guys in the super chat, if you want to, weigh in, please do so. And if you guys see any of these things in the super chat, let us know. We can't see the super chat right now. Hey, Kyle, speaking about the super chat, is there anything else in the super chat before we keep on going on?
Yeah, actually, Tony Marzano did actually bring up a question, interesting at that. He said, it sucks that we're buying Italian motors. How about USA motors?
How would that work? I mean, we wouldn't be able to manufacture the motors, right?
Manufacturing engines and things like that takes a lot of R&D with a lot of more resources. I know that there are manufacturers here in the US that are working on that problem. But I mean, as far as like prototypes, I couldn't tell you who they are. I have a few ideas, but again, until I know something for certain, I'm not going to give y'all any information about that.
So it'd probably be something more along the line of the designs that are out there that are good, like the Moster, like the
proven
Viterazzi,
designs is what we're looking for.
Viterazzis, Moster 185, the Atom 80s.
Yeah.
We know they work, the Cosmo 300s, right? We know that they work, and there's parts everywhere for them. And a lot of people are using them. So it'd be like, let's put together something that's made in the USA, but
Sure.
where's the parts? We don't have millions of dollars to do what Viterazzi is doing over in Italy.
And one thing I'm also looking at as well as as we're talking about it, it's like, oh, if we can get in contact with Honda, Kawasaki, Yamaha, stuff like that in order to see if a 2-cycle engine that they produced may actually work for our purposes. Because I mean, the whole thing is it's power to weight ratio, right? Well, imagine a 250
get Harley to
cc.
build it.
Yeah, there we go. Make it really American.
Harley, right? There you go. How about a Ford 2-stroke?
No, I'm good.
Do you guys want a Ford 2-stroke or maybe a Chevy
Them
2-stroke?
freaking old rebuild dog. No, we're staying away
Put a
from that.
V8
No.
on there.
Everybody's saying back brakes, by the way. Rear brake, rear
You're
brake.
saying
back
back brakes?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking too. Yeah, and I'm gonna make some very lightweight disc brakes, not drum brakes, but disc brakes so that they clear debris and anything that could possibly get in the way. So singular actuating, you only one actuator in order to, like, I haven't decided whether it's your foot or whether it's something else that actually locks it into place. But I'm thinking to keep it natural, it's probably gonna be like a foot on the front, either left or right, since our brake is typically activated with the left foot. Is that right? No, it's always the right. So the point is that
Right.
the accelerator and the brake is actuated. So it may actually go on the right foot. I haven't decided that. So, okay. So another question for
Oh,
this.
it's raining.
Is it, oh, go ahead, man.
I'm gonna shut that. Go ahead.
Okay. Right foot or left foot?
Yeah, see, I know we use our right foot for a brake. You technically, if you're driving, unless you're a woman, you usually use just your right foot for gas and brake. But I know, like, if you're riding a go-kart, left foot is brake, right foot is gas. And it would feel more like you were in a go-kart, I think, in a trike. So you would want to use your left foot. It's just what my feeling is, but other people may
Okay.
feel different about that.
I would probably have it universal where they can move it over in case somebody has just one foot, they're missing one leg.
Yeah.
That way they can move it over to the other
Absolutely.
side. I think that would be the
The
best.
bar
option.
going
And that's the
through.
beauty of having the rear brake.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. But really it'd be just a pivot point that actually would just change over. And that's the beauty of having rear brakes as opposed to front brakes, is I can switch it from either side. So, yeah, absolutely. Okay. So rear brakes it is. There won't be differential braking, which means you can't hit the brake and then turn left or hit the brake and turn right. If you hit the brakes, it's going to stop the whole trike. Okay. So that makes it much safer and yeah, much easier, especially since it's the idea is to have it as a, you know, a self-steering type trike anyway. Okay, so that answers that question. Great. As far as a harness connection is concerned, really haven't thought about putting any harnesses on there because this is really not going to be a weight shift type principle. But anything's possible, especially when we're talking about the one where you're going to attach your motor and your harness into the frame itself. Yeah.
Yeah, on the standalones where you're adding your own paramotor, I could see that being, you know, but on the one that you're building, you know, with the basically a racing seat and a 5-point harness, then you won't need a regular paramotor harness. You'll be using that racing seat and the 5-point harness, so you're good there.
That's correct. Yep.
Especially if you can recline it, and then, you know, you won't have to be able to slide it front and back because your front feet will be adjustable. So you already got that figured out. So
that way the center of gravity stays pretty consistent.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and that's the whole idea behind that, as opposed to trying to make it where so many things are adjustable.
Yeah.
Keep it as simple as possible. So, let's see, anything else?
Well, actually, Tony also made another mention that's something else. Would you be willing to do a gas pedal throttle as well for somebody that would have a disability that would need something like that?
If they have a disability, yes, I could see where that would be easy to manufacture. Yes, because I mean, just like you have your right side, you know, for your gas, and your left side technically would be for your brake, as you do in go-karts and whatnot. Then yes, that would be totally doable. Absolutely. The design implementation is not complicated. All we do is change where the cable goes to, where it's connected to, and just simply have a lever in order to create that kind of friction. Now, the downside with having a pedal for gas is that most of the places we land are not very smooth. And because of that reason, your foot will constantly be bouncing on that. Even with good suspension, your feet will be following the actual wheel itself. So all that vibration will be going into your throttle. Okay. And that's another thing. I know that a lot of people don't lubricate their throttle cables. And I highly recommend from an A&P point of view that you need to lubricate your throttle cables.
Yeah, I know a lot of people probably look at four-wheelers and go, why do they make that thumb throttle like that? That's because in a four-wheeler, you're going over all them bumps. If you had the regular pull throttle, you would just hit more gas every time you hit a bump, and you'd be flying into a tree.
Especially when you're standing up, because I mean, people stand up to let their legs take most of the shock. So if you got that constantly doing this, then you're going to be like Tourette's on a quad. So it's like, and then making it fluid to be able to get up into the air, all the motions have to be fluid, and you put on everything at the same time in order to get up into the air. And if you have that foot cable, especially whenever you start taking off and that your trike is doing this number right here, then your foot has a potential with the weight shift to be able to do your throttling like this, which could make a very dangerous situation. So I've looked at that, obviously, but I don't recommend it. But there's other ways to create a throttle potential for it. Like I said, we have a bite throttle that can work for someone who has a disability and can't use their hands to do so. And there's also other different ways in order to make a throttle. That won't be a problem. It'll take some special training for the majority of throttle ideas in order to work properly. But I'm sure that if the person has the determination to get in the air, they'll be able to accept the training. So
Drivetrain. What?
Huh?
Tony's saying, I'm thinking of drivetrain, make it happen. Well, drivetrain, why would you? No.
Drivetrain? What do you mean drivetrain?
That's what I'm wondering. I guess he's thinking about, because I was like, yeah, I'm thinking he's to be able to transfer the energy of the prop into the wheels, but you don't need that because the prop's already pushing you forward. You don't need any kind of drivetrain unless you need reverse or something, I guess.
And you're talking about, in order for a drivetrain on all the gearing, and even if you use a slip yoke or you use a belt, you're talking about so much more different types of materials to withstand the torque that's necessary to drive that down the road.
Yeah.
And you're going to lose a ton of horsepower out of your engine. And the engines just aren't designed for that right now, because in order to get a drivetrain, you're talking a full-fledged transmission. You're talking about a lot of extra weight, and we will go up to the 250 mark, 250-pound mark if you have a thing, and that's just not feasible. I mean, no airplane has a drivetrain on it. you know, I mean, I've never seen one that has a drivetrain. Do they have driving or flying tanks? No. So I know it's a little extreme thinking, but no, it's not really effective to make that work. No. So interesting thought though, but
So I got a question for you for a paramotor. As far as mounting, have you considered doing a quick connect? I guess is the word I'm thinking of. Or
you talking about it to hook on your own foot launch
Uh,
system?
well, I'm referring on the trike, you know, like the Kangoo, it's actually bolted down and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to bash it, but for me, I don't like how it's mounted. I like something that's actually more quicker, but still safe, of course. And I was just curious how you'd mount the frame to the trike, in that perspective.
The frame to the trike.
Well, so like I was talking to Scuba, the trike that's piqued my interest is called an Air One, which unfortunately it wouldn't be as sturdy as what yours is, but they basically have these little quick connects that just clamp over the frame and lock in with that extra safety. And as far as taking your paramotor off the trike, it's like 2 minutes. It
Right,
doesn't.
so you're talking about a paramotor on a light trike.
Yeah.
Are you talking about removing the motor off of the trike?
No, removing the paramotor itself from the trike.
Yes,
Is it something
that's
to
going to be part of this design.
I wasn't sure
I
if it's
like-
going to be hard mounted where
Yeah,
it's
That's already
pulled.
part of that's already part of the design so that you can actually fold it up.
Okay, now, as far as folding it up, would it be able to fit in like a trunk of a car, or is that,
That depends on the size of your car.
see, I got an Altima. See, for me, I don't have a truck, so I would need something that would be able to fold down, just shove in my car. maybe the back
Would you
seat.
be able to do something like if like a car, right? If you have one of those little small racks on the back of a car, right? Could you put something on that in your trunk and your back seat? Could you break it down into different pieces?
Sure.
Well,
Again, this prototype is to be robust. The second one that we'll build will actually be a bit smaller for that reason. Same design, but using slightly lighter materials so it can, or in small, so that I can make it a bit smaller to fit other things. But right now we're building the first prototype in order to work out all the little bells and whistles, all the little bugs that could possibly be in it, to make it strong and safe. And I'm going to be the test pilot.
Kyle, I got
So-
Oh, come on.
I got the
Come on, I
same.
want to be the
So
test.
you have to drive down from it.
Okay, I can do that.
Can do that.
Yeah, I can do that.
Kyle, I got the same basic trike. Kangoo, I agree with you. I don't like the way you have to bolt it down. I did see this frame when I was at Fly Up for Gauge. I love this design. I want some mounts like that.
Ooh,
So-
that is nice.
So what that is
Can't make out-
basically.
I can't see. We can't really see what that is.
you
Oh,
should
I
be
see
able-
what you're talking about now.
Okay, see, those
Yes, I know what you're
pins are push button pins. You literally lay your frame down in there and slide those pin in and you're done. Which technically those
Yep.
mounts would work on our trike. We just need those mounts made just like that. And they will fit right on that Kangoo trike.
Yeah, I'm not going to give away the mounting process just yet because I'm still working it out, but it's going to be really easy
There's
to
another-
lock it in place, and it will be a secured lock. Yes, I see what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was just showing
Gotcha.
them
And that
a
moves
bigger
back
picture.
different things.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah, I like it.
absolutely. Yeah. And yes, totally going to be making, and those are called cam throw locks. And cam throw locks can be made to where they both maneuver side to side and throw over latch and then lock it down. Yes, absolutely
Oh.
easy. Yeah, doable. So yes, but the idea that I have to move the engine itself is, well, I'm not going to tell you what it is because I'm still working on it.
removing an engine, removing, so the difference is, just so we're all on the same page, we're removing an engine from the frame itself.
Right.
Which is different from just removing the paramotor from a light trike,
Right.
like what
Two
that's
totally different things. Yeah. So if you're talking about removing an engine from a trike, a light trike, which is what you showed me, then that's easy to do. That design that you just showed me, yes, totally doable. So when we do the light version of it, that where you can put your own paramotor on top of that with the loop and everything on it, it will lock in and be solid. But when we're talking about the larger trike, the mid-range trike, I'll call it, It's going to have a different system for being able to remove the actual engine so that you can remove the engine and stow it or put it in a different location than where the trike fits into. So then you can take it out, set your trike up, reattach your engine, bring it up, lock it in, you're ready to fly.
Because there's quick releases for your fuel lines also. So you can just twist it and pop it. So there's quick release fuel line.
Yep. A lot of things we're still working out on the design idea, but yeah. So, and again, over time, I will show you exactly what I'm building, and how it's progressing. And then you can give me more input and things like that about ideas that you may have that I haven't thought of yet. Okay.
Awesome.
So the idea is to make it modular and make it easy to assemble. I'm trying to get it to where you can assemble the whole thing in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's something I would definitely love, is something that's quick and easy. I ain't gonna bring out a lot of tools and start fidgeting with it. That's what I'm looking for.
The whole point is to not even have to use a tool.
Right. And
Never
that's
do.
what
That's
I
all.
like.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's
because
why I like those slide pins. It's literally push button, you're done. It's like,
Yep.
that's what I want. Click, click. Okay, now I can ride my trike, or I can take them off. Boom, foot
Yep.
launch. And I know that one's later for you,
there's-
but still. Just
well,
keep
there
in
are
mind when you
tons
get to
of-
that point.
yeah. I mean, that there's actually I call it the aviation Bible, which it's about this thick, about that tall, and it's written like a Bible, both front and back, with that kind of writing that talks about the different fasteners that are used in aviation. And I'll be applying that book in order to work with this to make it efficient and effective for all the different types of fasteners that are in existence. Okay. So, and then probably manufacturing my own, to be honest with you. Something that's quick, something that's secure, something that's proven, just probably a little more robust so that it locks everything into place.
Mhm.
So it's the joy of being a machinist. I can make it anywhere I want to. So, okay. Any more questions?
Any questions from the panel? Any questions in the super chat?
At the moment, I haven't seen any.
This was
But,
great.
Greg did say he did like the LED light idea. However, an accessible switch to turn the lights on in case you forgot. Also, a dashboard to click your phone would be nice.
Yep.
I think that'd be an easy mod to put in there, of course.
I'm trying to, the idea again is to, once it's all set up, all you've got to do is get in the thing, connect your helmet, turn it on, get your wing attached, and sayonara. All your radios are already there. All your light switches, your battery setups, any kind of power that you want to it, to run all your gauges, your indicators, anything like that to keep you safer in the air is the idea and what we'll be working in order to
Well, that's
achieve.
a smart idea too. We're just talking about mods.
Mhm.
You can take your, battery packs and slide them into something, and I guess your wires are already where they need to be instead of running wires and
That's
stuff.
correct.
You just slide in your battery pack, and then you just plug in your helmet
Yep.
or plug in your whatever.
Yep.
I like
And
that.
the wires will be hidden.
Mhm.
It's not going to be anything that's external. A ton of external wiring are actually going to be hidden in the frame itself. Very professional type installation with all kinds of activation buttons and the whole panel board, anything, and a big old or a manual in order to show you how to run the thing. Easy to produce, especially with all the AI technology we have nowadays. So
Right.
doing a manual in order to help someone get started with it without a whole lot of hands-on or me being there to help them set it up is the goal.
That's the thing too. There's a lot of paramotors out there without any manual at all.
That's
You have
correct.
no idea how to.
Yep.
You get them in a box, and it's like, well, I think this piece goes here.
Yep. And the thing that ticks me off the most when I see something that's supposed to be built in the USA,
Right.
is you look at the manual for installation and it has all kinds of misspelled words that sound like,
It's
whoa,
like- it's like, no, that's
install the bolt into the housing or something crazy like that.
Right.
You can tell it's not even written in the United States.
Right. Yeah.
So that bothers me. So I wanted y'all to know that whenever as we do this, and I'll be writing down every part of the instruction and then transferring that into an actual manual.
Excellent.
So, actually, I got a question, and forgive me if you've already said it, I might have missed it. But, what kind of warranty will be coming on these trikes if there's any errors, maybe a weld didn't stick or something? Does it come with a good warranty for just basic wear and tear? Or is that something?
Fascinating.
Interesting. That's definitely something we have not
Yeah,
been talking
we
about.
haven't discussed that really. Because the whole idea in the beginning is to make it, I mean, granted, it's a machine. Can it fail? Yes. Because that's just the nature of machining things. And it also depends on age and things like that. But I'll tell you this, from what I've seen, from some of the other trikes and things like that have been built, what I have planned and what I am going to be building is going to be so far beyond what their capabilities are, that when you receive the machine, you're going to know that you have a quality product. And having an actual written guarantee, I guarantee if you don't crash it, it's not going to break.
Right, and I was just, I'm trying to make sure everybody knows something like that, of course, because, not having a warranty for just not, for negligence can really help out a decision buying something like that.
Yeah, I understand. We'll have to work that one out.
Right.
First, if we're going to warranty it, as opposed to if I'm doing an open source type deal, there's no warranty. Because that's something that you're taking upon yourself in order to build it, using the plans and things like that I've furnished.
Right.
As like something I'm building myself, in order for me to send it out with a warranty, then the majority of it will have to be built at my location, and then you'll have to just do a few other things. And then other than that, I'll have to actually talk with a lawyer in order to figure out what the warranty class would be. So there's a lot of other things that have to take place before that even comes into play.
Right.
So, but it is something I can put on the plate. But it's not something I'm even thinking about connecting with right now, because again, we're, as it's been explained to me many, many times as I'm talking this or AMP that for a part 103 type situation. This is part 103. And I don't like this excuse, because I mean, you can home build this. There's no regulation for anybody to build anything like this. And there's no standard. So having a warranty could be both a plus and a negative. And again, haven't explored that part yet.
A warranty would be like if there's anything wrong with it and you didn't crash it, we'll take care of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
So if it comes there and something's broken, we'll send you another piece.
Yeah.
If you're missing bolts, we'll send you some bolts, that type of thing.
If you're talking about that kind of stuff, I mean, obviously,
That's kind of what I was referring to as a warranty. If
yeah. All right. Because I kind of go, when you're talking about warranties and stuff, there's a lot of legalities that have to follow a warranty. And because we're talking about, there's now, granted, for the most part, people just want to get up in the air and they want to enjoy things, but you also have those people that want to get it and then they want to try to get a whole new assembly because something wasn't right. And whereas that's really not that big of a deal, that's not what I'm in this for. I'm in this to help people. And if you have some part that's not quite 100%, but I promise before it leaves here, it will be 100%, and it will be assembled completely, and it will have everything with it because it'll be assembled assembled and taken apart before it ships. It's just that simple. Because as I build it, I assemble it. So, and again, if a part does break for whatever reason, then yeah, it's replaceable. That's the whole point of why I'm designing it the way I am. And as long as you follow my directions, because okay, and probably one of the things I may do that I'm thinking about it is if you get a part, if you say, okay, this is wrong or this is bad, then I'm going to request a Zoom call. We're going to look at that part and see exactly how bad it is and see what I can do to either make it right or whatnot. Just kind of all kinds of ideas to go with the whole warranty idea, but I'm not opposed to it. We'll just have to see. And now remember that as an engineer, there's a lot of things that cover the engineering aspect of it, a lot of legalities that go with it too. So just remember that. So I'll be making this as robust as I possibly can and still be an effective and efficient trike. Okay.
Sounds good.
I know things that we didn't talk about today was warranties.
Nope, didn't even think about it.
And stuff like that, and price
Yep.
points. It's like all we're thinking about is how can we make a robust machine
Yep.
that works well,
Mhm.
that will help a lot of people get into the sky.
Yep.
And just be an all-around good machine. Very good quality.
Mhm.
Didn't even think about the warranty.
Nope.
But
So I got a question of my own here. Actually, it's kind of a silly question, but out of curiosity. So I was thinking about one of our students who is crutches.
Mhm.
What would happen if he wanted the roll cage, over that? Could we actually make it to where that can actually kind of detach partially to let him get in and then come back down and lock in? Or would that be?
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like when you go into a amusement park and you go in
Yes,
and do a roller coaster and they bring that thing down and over you, right? Is that what you're talking about?
yes, basically same concept. I was wondering, like for me, I'm a bigger guy, and if I had a trike like that, I would love to have roll cage like the red one over there. I love it, but for me, for being a bigger guy, it's actually a little difficult for me to get in there and uncomfortable. I love how it sets in, but getting in and out is I'm not elegant at all. So I was just wondering like if something like that would be possible with that build.
That we talked about,
Well,
the open
it's going to
cockpit.
be an open roll cage. In the very front, you're not going to have anything obscuring your view. Okay. And especially the view straight forward, it's going to be open. So all you got to do is just get in. It's very straightforward, very simple. And it's going to be like a chair with the roll cage that goes from side to side. That's the idea at the moment. Okay. So you don't have a problem getting in, especially for someone with matter of fact, especially with someone that has those kind of, crutches or whatnot, it'll be really easy to get into. And then their feet will lock into place on the actual front part of the trike. If they say they've got limited use of their legs, we can design it to where with a self-steering trike that their feet can just rest up in a certain place.
So it's open in the front, Kyle, like blue, but it's gonna be comfortable like red.
Mhm.
And you guys
Okay.
are both like, what are you talking about, blue and red? Well, we have different trikes with different colors,
Mhm.
and we refer to them as the colors.
Yep.
So you've been over here, Kyle. You know what I'm talking about. So blue has an
Oh,
open
yeah.
cockpit, but red is the most comfortable
By
paramotor
far,
trike
yes. That
flying
red one
I've
is
ever
like,
been in my life.
Mhm.
And you like it too,
Sure,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, my favorite.
it
And
definitely
the
is
seats I'm
better.
talking about will be actually very plush. And they'll be kind of coming around, but you can get different sizes, different widths of the seating and everything. If you have a plus size recommendation or requirement, then we can actually get the seats to fit you.
Awesome.
That's too.
Yep. So, and I've already thought about how to get it in. Matter of fact, I designed actually a trike that someone can actually pull back on their wheelchair, lock it in, lift it up, and now their wheelchair is part of their seating system in the trike.
That would be nice.
Only if they have a very comfortable wheelchair, because
Yeah, it would be mostly for
are not-
racing.
wheelchairs are not
If
comfortable.
they have the like, well, and you could make it obviously engineer it to different types of wheelchairs. So
Right.
again, it also depends. There's all kinds of the reason I bring that up is to let you know there's all kinds of dynamics that we can work into. There's not secluded into just one dogmatic design. It's gonna be, we can customize it any way that we need to.
So how about you customize a wheelchair that actually is part of that design?
Sure.
So so that's part of the design. You unclip it,
Mhm.
and now you go over, you get your whoever they sit in it, and now you bring them back and actually set them in. So
Yeah.
so the wheelchair is actually part of the trike or
Easy.
quad. There you go.
Easy.
That's
Yep.
better than trying to come up with something that is
Sure.
more of a standard for all the different type of wheelchairs that
yeah.
are out there.
Mhm.
So that's cool, making your own wheelchair.
Doable.
Yeah. See, and that's why we're doing this. It just is really cool because the more we talk about it, the more design concepts happen, the
Mhm.
more people we have out here that, try to do this, the more we're like, oh, okay, so this guy wants to take his crutches and stow them
Mhm.
on his trike or
Mhm.
quad. And you already said that's no problem.
No
You
problem.
can stow it.
Yep.
And then there's people with wheelchairs, so we can build one that actually has a wheelchair
Mm-hmm.
that detaches and attaches.
Sure.
I've
That-
seen they've already designed this, but it's a basically if you're in a wheelchair, it's like this little one wheel you pull up to, it's electric, and your wheelchair clicks right into it, then you got electric wheelchair. Freaking
Yeah.
awesome.
That is good. That is good. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. So yeah, then the only difference I guess between that one and this one is this one take you into the sky. Among other things, of course. But yeah, there's unlimited possibilities for what we can design and make. Because we're under Part 103, it opens up a lot of chances to make things that could help people.
Yeah.
I'm simply offering my knowledge and expertise and experience in order to try to make it a lot safer than what the majority of designs are out there. So, yep.
Cool. It is almost 9 o'clock, so
Yep. I'll be
another 10 minutes, I guess, to wrap up everything. What do you think, guys? Wrap it up and be done by 9 our time central?
Yes. That sounds good. I know I already took my green screen down because my kitty was being like, I was afraid she was gonna take it down. So I'm like, okay, I'm over this. It's going.
Yeah, and this green screen that looks like our school, we're gonna take down this too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. May take us a month.
That's a pretty good background. Yeah,
Guys,
that looks
one of the
just
things
like
that
your
we got going
school.
on, I know, it's
Yeah.
amazing.
Mm.
So one of the things that we got going on over here at Run to the Sky is that we have classes, right? So if you want to come to one of our classes, they're $3,500. Wait, we dropped it, didn't we? So it's not $3,500. It's only $1,200 right now for a 10-day class. So if you want to check that out, go over to runintothesky.com. Look at our new price point that's going to be just for a little bit. So if this is something that you want to do, if you want to be able to run into the sky, even though you may not be a disabled vet, we invite everybody to come over here and train. Right now, $1,200. Train with us is normally $3,500. The price is not going to stay at $1,200 very long. So pay for your stuff. Get over here anytime for 2024. So pay for it now. Fly anytime that you want to. Come over here anytime. But we're going to change that back up to $3,500 pretty soon. So go over to runtothesky.com, check it out, pay for it, get that tuition paid for, come over here and learn how to run into the sky. All right. So you can always find me over at ppggrandpa.com or iflyparamotors.com. Do you have a .com yet?
I have several.
He has several .coms. What kind of .coms do you have?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, the ardent survivor .com. That's one that where I teach anybody, not just for wilderness survival, but it has to do with everyday survival.
Can you say that .com again, nice and slow?
The ardent survivor, ARDENT survivor.com. And again, I teach people how to overcome their fears. I teach people how to deal with everyday stresses and stressors, and I give them tools so that they can live life confidently and as secure as they possibly can. I help them enhance their senses, as well as help them to understand more about their surroundings. So
Is it really a fear of heights or a fear of falling?
it's a fear of that sudden stop at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, yeah.
That's what I have found over time. It's not the fear of heights that get people. It's that fear of the sudden stop and the feeling of helplessness during the fall.
And also too, like me, you won't see me on a ladder up on a roof. It's just I don't feel secure.
Sure.
But you strap a paramotor, a trike on me, and I'll go and fly, 18,000 feet
Sure.
without blinking an eye.
Mhm.
You get me 20 feet on a ladder, I'm shaking
Yep.
like I can't do it, don't want to do it.
Yeah, I found that anybody who's connected into something, like if they're rappelling or climbing, if they're connected in a harness and a rig that they've set up, they can go
I have
climb
no
if they want.
problem. Yeah, I have
Exactly.
no problem rappelling. Matter of fact, I love rappelling.
Yeah. And it's not just heights, it's also about any kind of environment that you're in. Because I've been a rescue scuba diver for years, so I teach people about water safety. I've been a lifeguard for years, so I teach people about how to help survive in water situations, how to help stay calm and things like that in adverse situations and things that happen either instantly or something that's even perceived. How to deal with deaths in the family, how to deal with anything through building your life with confidence. So that's the goal.
And one more time, the .com, nice and slow.
The ardent survivor.com.
And spell that for us, because we're gonna put this out there too, where people just hear the audio.
Okay, it's the THE ardent ARDE as in Edward, November, Tango, or NT survivor SURVIVOR.com. And what you'll do is you'll get on a phone call. You'll set up a time and you'll get on a phone call with either me or a person in my team, and we will get you started in the program.
Sounds awesome. All right, Scuba Steve left. All right, we'll skip Scuba Steve for a moment and we'll go over to Kyle. What's up, Kyle? Our
Okay.
director of operations over here at Run to the Sky. You have any .coms or anything like that?
No, I've never been into any of that kind of stuff.
Man, we need to get you some .coms and some social media, buddy.
No, I'm not much of a person that like to stick out. I like to work in the background, to be honest.
Okay.
And I just like helping people background. I'm not too big on being flashy.
Excellent. Well, Kyle, like I said, Kyle Neal, he's our director of operations. He's been taking care of all the stuff over here. He's been finding amazing deals for us to help students when they get over here, helmets and things like that, and designing the simulator. He's been doing a lot of stuff in the background, and definitely appreciate everything that you've done in the background. Kyle Neal, you're awesome, dude. Thank you so much, buddy.
Anytime, man. I'm glad to be able to try to help everybody out and bring these costs down to affordable for anybody, just like everybody else is trying. It's what I'm striving for. I'm not trying to get any recognition from anybody. Just want to get as many people as we can in the family at the Paramotors. That way we can all have fun.
Exactly. Exactly.
Exactly. All right. We also got our very own Linda Anderson, ParamontUSA.com. How you doing? Love you,
It was
girl.
really fun. This was
Oh,
so
fun.
fun tonight. I want to thank you guys so much for, I want to thank my chatters and my team and everything. I love you guys so much. I just appreciate everybody joining us on Monday nights. We really have we got a good team. And Kyle, welcome to our team. And Brandon, welcome to our team. See, I already invited you. So now you have to come back every week now. Because Paramount says so. Paramount says so. You're like, yep, I gotta come back. Paramount says, yep, I gotta come back on the show on Monday nights.
I'll do the best I can to try to join.
I really had a good time tonight. And if you want to be a guest on the show, just go to ParamountUSA.com, take you right to my Facebook page, and just say, hey, Paramount, I want to be on your show. And I'll get you all set up. Or you guys got a friend or somebody you know, like say, hey, this gal would be really cool on your show. Send them over to me, and I'll take care of everything. We got a full month. Super excited about it. Got 2 cool guests coming up to wrap up our month. So the month of April. And I think this month was really good. We had a lot going on with the eclipse and all the cool videos and all that good stuff. So much love to all my chatters. Love you bunches. There you go. I learned a lot tonight. I'm super excited about the new trikes and everything. And so Kyle, you did really good tonight. You were looking at the questions and everything. And yeah, I was very impressed. I'm like, yeah, you did good.
I try. I mean, just
Yeah.
want to make sure every question is answered and seen because y'all want everybody to try to ask as many questions as possible. It doesn't matter how silly they might think it is, because a silly idea can always be modified and improved on, or just give us new ideas to help improve things.
There you go. There you go.
Exactly.
Okay, I will step aside.
All right. Thank you very much, Lynn Anderson. She's also our PR girl over at the Run to the Sky. And she's our PR girl over here at the ClearProp TV. So everything that we do is nonprofit. So this is a nonprofit podcast. And we definitely thank everybody for doing everything on this show. Nobody gets paid. I don't even send them out thank you letters or anything. They just come here because they love to be here every Monday at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. We also got Scuba Steve. Scuba Steve, he jumped on Fridays and does a show also, some sort of Paramotor Outlaw or something like that. Tell us a bit about that, buddy.
Well, my show on Fridays is mostly about vape and trying to get people off cigarettes, but I do talk a lot about paramotors because, if you're a paramotor pilot, that's what you're going to talk about. So, yeah, every Friday, 8 to 10 Eastern Standard Time. You can either look up Scuba Vapes on YouTube or go to ParamotorOutlaw.com. Either one will take you to my channel, and it's free to watch. Come join. We have fun.
He is an outlaw, and don't you forget that. Speaking about outlaws, we do have a police officer on here. So we got a police officer and an outlaw. Go figure on that one. Kevin Houston, our president of Run Into the Sky, is here with us. And he has his own .com also. And he does some cool stuff flying around. Tell us a little bit about yourself, buddy, and your .coms, man.
I'm Kevin. .com is theflying50.com. I don't I post every once in a while on there, when I can or when I have time. I enjoy doing that. Planning on getting back over there to Arkansas, I guess, here the last weekend of this month, and hopefully we'll get to fly. Seeing the eclipse, was that last weekend? Yes, last weekend was a blast. Probably the neatest thing I've ever seen. Hanging around with some fun folks and meeting some people that I've only heard about through Facebook or what is this, YouTube or things like that. So it was a good time.
And you're more of a TikTok guy, right? You TikTok a lot of your.
Yeah, sometimes I do. I do have like 65 followers on YouTube, which is kind of cool. But
65, man, that's more
yeah.
than what I got. That's awesome, man.
No, it's not. Looking at retiring here from my profession here, I guess in a little less than a month now. I'm gonna find something else to do. So
Gonna get a paramotor cake from all your buddies?
I'm gonna what? Say that again?
Are you gonna get a paramotor cake from all your buddies?
I
Ooh,
might.
a paramotor cake.
Yeah, paramotor cake.
I
Yeah.
might. But 25 years, it's time to hang it up and find something else to do. So looking forward to that.
Well, Kevin was nice enough to invite us over to his retirement ceremony, and I definitely will love to go over there and watch you retire. Got you a present over here too, by the way. So when you come over here this next weekend or whenever you come over, I got you a really nice retirement present.
It won't be this weekend. This weekend I've got to work. Morgan Wallen's coming here, so it's going to be a big to do. But the last weekend, next weekend, I'll be down. I'll be over there. So
Excellent, excellent. Man, I had a really good time tonight. Man,
fun.
guy full of information. And if you were over here at the Run to the Sky school, man, he will talk your ear off. You think I talk about paramotors? This guy, oh my gosh, he talks about the engineering aspect of it. I just talk about, hey man, let's go fly. He's talking about, hey, how about the design of this, this, and this? I'm like,
but let's fly too.
Let's fly.
Let's fly too. Let's test out this stuff.
Yeah,
Great.
let's make stuff and go test it out. That's the cool part. So anyways, I had a blast tonight, guys. Thank you so much, Scuba Steve, for being here and hanging out. Kyle Neal, appreciate you, buddy. Linda Anderson, Kevin Houston, Will Fly, man. And of course, my buddy Mac, old Marine here that has a bunch of good ideas. I can't wait to go fly his machines. This is going to be pretty cool. Really awesome, buddy. Yeah. Oh, that's my hand. Hey, check out my stitches are going to be taken out here in just a little bit. And in 2 more days.
Broke them all flying during the eclipse. All right.
Man, I tell you what, I've ripped half these things out already. They said keep it bandaged and wrapped around and dry. Man, this thing's been in the dirt. It's been ripped all over the place. There's oil and gas on it. I've been flying. Oh man, my doctor's gonna hate me. I hope he's not watching. No, I hope he is watching because I want him to fly too.
There you go.
Right. So remember, guys, if you want to learn to fly, it's only $1,200. It's going to go back up to $3,500 soon, but get that tuition and you can use it anytime in 2024. That's runintothesky.com. Love you guys with a big heart here. Ba-boom, ba-boom. And we'll see you next week here on Clear Prop TV.
Thank you, everybody. Much love. Much love.
Dinner time. Yeah, absolutely. Anything else, guys, before we say goodbye to the world?
Fly safe, everybody.
Fly safe, guys.
Fly safe. Love y'all.
See y'all. Yeah, soft landings. I like that. Blue skies, soft landings.
Yeah, there you go.
I think I'm gonna eat that.
Go for it.
That's mine. Wait a minute. I said it. You didn't say it. Me.
Well, I'm
All right. Peace out, y'all.
Later.
All right.
Love you guys.
Bye.